Hare Krishna, my respectful Hare Krishna, my respectful pranams to all the assembled members here in this most amazing conference, a very important conference to explore synergies between the various different philosophical schools of thought, especially in the Vaishnava Sampradaya. So, my topic is Lord Chaitanya's Gaudiya philosophy and its alignment with Sripad Madhvacharya's teachings. The relationship between Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Gaudiya Vaishnavism and Sripad Madhvacharya's Dvaita philosophy is one of the most significant theological constituents of Vaishnava tradition. We have understood that although both Sripad Madhvacharya and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were separated by nearly 3 centuries, these spiritual giants provided a very important shared philosophical framework. Gaudiya Vaishnavism introduces certain dimensions of divine reality, and Madhvacharya's frameworks represent another dimension of the various aspects of the divine reality. Therefore, the Gaudiya tradition identifies itself as Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. This connection manifests primarily through the philosophical alignment in the Tattva Siddhanta, and actually it remains a matter of interesting scholarly discussion. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu received Mantra Diksha from Ishwarapuri, and Ishwarapuri's guru, Shripad Madhvendra Puri, is considered to be the fountainhead of the Gaudiya devotional stream. The 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, particularly Srila Jiva Goswami in the Tattva Sandarbha and the Sarva Samvadini, meticulously documented this philosophical continuity, establishing how the Gaudiya thought builds upon and develops Sripad Madhvacharya's foundational insights. This Sampradaya relationship is not merely nominal, but it is very deeply philosophical also. Both the traditions stand in explicit opposition to Advaita Vedanta's monistic dissolution of the individual entity as the undifferentiated Brahman. For both the Madhva and the Gaudiya Acharyas, the eternal distinction between the Ishvara and the Jiva represents a non negotiable theological cornerstone. What are some of the core philosophical alignments? In Dvaitavada, the reality of distinction is described. Sripad Madhvacharya's Dvaita dualistic philosophy establishes 5 fundamental distinctions known as Panchabheda. First, the difference and distinction between the Ishvara and the Jiva. Second, the distinction between Ishvara and Prakriti. Third, between the distinction between Jiva and Jiva. Fourth, the distinction between Jiva and Prakriti. And fifth is the Bheda amongst various objects in Prakriti. Gaudiya Vaishnavism wholeheartedly embraces this Panchabheda framework, rejecting the Advaitic notion that all distinctions are ultimately Maya or illusory. Both the systems affirm that the Supreme Lord, Vishnu, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, eternally distinct from the individual souls. The individual soul's relationship with the Lord is eternal, and moksha does not mean merging into the Lord's existence, but rather achieving a purified state of loving service. This preservation of individual identity in the liberated state represents a very important shared principle distinguishing both Gaudiya and Madhvacharya's, Sripad Madhvacharya's Dvaita philosophy tradition from the Advaita, and hence the supremacy of Lord Vishnu was established by Sripad Madhvacharya. How Lord Vishnu has absolute supremacy over all other deities. He presented comprehensive scriptural evidence that all other gods, the Devatas, are fundamentally subordinate to Vishnu. And he specially emphasized on the Dwarka form. Gaudiya Vaishnavism builds upon this foundation by identifying Krishna of Vrindavan as Swayam Bhagavan, and all other Vaikuntha Narayana forms emanate from him. Ishvara Paramakrishna Satchidananda Vigraha as described in Brahma Samhita. And in the Srimad Bhagavatam first canto, Ete cha Amshakala Pumsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. So both the traditions employ sophisticated textual hermeneutics to establish the supremacy of Lord Vishnu. Though Gaudiya Acharyas like Srila Jiva Goswami Pad developed certain understanding of the tattva of Swayam Rupa, Tadekatma Rupa, and Avesha incarnations also. Now, let us look at pramana or the valid means of knowledge. Both Madhva philosophers and Gaudiya philosophers accept the three pramanas as the valid means of knowledge. Pratyaksha, which is direct perception, Anumana, which is inference, and Shabda, which is scriptural testimony. Crucially, both the traditions, Madhva and Gaudiya traditions, prioritize Shabda Pramana. And in the Shabda Pramana, particularly, the Vedas and especially the Bhagavad Purana and the Bhagavad Gita as the supreme epistemic authority in all spiritual matters. This shared epistemological foundation creates common ground for scriptural interpretations, even when there may be certain differences in the way the divine is elaborated upon. Now I will speak about the Gaudiya Sampradaya of Achinta Bheda Abheda Tattva. So, Madhvacharya's core dualistic insights have been totally affirmed. The Gaudiya philosophy introduces a principle known as Achinta Bheda Abheda Tattva, which is the inconceivable simultaneous oneness and difference. And therefore, this basic principle actually is very important. Why? Because both Bheda and Abheda aspects have been actually mentioned. Sripad Madhvacharya himself addressed the oneness and difference relationship through his concept of Visheshana Visheshya Bhava, which is qualifying and qualified relationship, emphasizing that souls are completely dependent, paratantra on the Lord while maintaining eternal distinction. The Gaudiya contribution was also something similar. Both Bheda, difference, and Abheda, non-difference, are ultimate realities, neither being subordinate to the other. Jiva Goswami in his Sarva Samvadini demonstrates how this principle emerges naturally from Sripad Madhvacharya's own conclusions when viewed comprehensively. The Jiva being simultaneously one with Krishna in quality, both spiritual and conscious, yet eternally different in quantity and position. Similarly, material energy Maya is both different from Krishna as his external potency, yet non-different as it has no existence independent of the will. Therefore, this is not a compromise between dualism and monism, but a transcendental category that accommodates both the reality of the distinction and oneness. Srila Jiva Goswami particularly emphasized this principle of achintya, inconceivable to material logic, yet directly experienced through spiritual realization and substantiated through careful Shabda analysis. And hence, this concept finds strong scriptural support. Like, for example, Matsthani Sarva Bhutani, all beings rest in me. But along with that, Na Chaham, Naham Teshu Avasthitaha, yet I am not in them from Bhagavad Gita 9.4. While Shripad Madhvacharya emphasized the Bheda to counter Advaita's exclusive emphasis on Abheda, Gaudiya Acharyas presented Achinta Bheda Bheda to show that both aspects represent the ultimate truth. Both Sripad Madhvacharya and Gaudiya traditions elevate Bhakti Yoga as the supreme spiritual practice and the definitive means of achieving the Paramartha or the goal of life. However, there are differences in emphasis and elaboration rather than fundamental disagreement. Sripad Madhvacharya established Bhakti as superior to Jnana and Karma, presenting elaborate arguments for Bhakti supremacy with emphasis on Sakshi Bhakti, devotion with full awareness of the Lord's supremacy. The Gaudiya Acharyas, they developed the principle of Bhakti Rasa devotional mellows through texts like Rupa Goswami Pada's Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. And therefore, we find that in Sripad Madhvacharya's tradition, the principle of dependence on the Supreme Lord through ultimate acceptance of the Supreme Lord Vishnu in the mood of Aishwarya is more prominent, whereas in the Gaudiya Sampradaya, the moods of Madhurya have been brought out as more prominent. And therefore, Shripad Madhvacharya focused on the Aishwarya and the soul subordinate relationship to the Supreme, and the Gaudiyas emphasized the intimate, spontaneous devotion of Braja. Krishna in Vrindavan appears as a cowherd boy, enjoying reciprocal love with his devotees. So, this distinction between Madhurya and Aishwarya does not contradict their philosophies, but rather explores dimensions of unlimited Rasaraj Krishna. And therefore, both Aishwarya and Madhurya are aspects of the same infinite reality. Therefore, the relationship between the Gaudiya philosophy and Sripad Madhvacharya's teachings exemplifies how spiritual traditions can maintain fundamental continuity while making distinctive contributions through the emphasis and elaboration rather than contradiction. The Gaudiya system accepts Sripad Madhvacharya's core dualistic framework, Sripad Madhvacharya's epistemology. The Gaudiyas accept Sripad Madhvacharya's assertion of Lord Vishnu's supremacy. The Gaudiyas accept Sripad Madhvacharya's emphasis on bhakti as foundational truth. Building upon this solid foundational philosophical framework, the Gaudiyas articulate the Achinta Bheda Bheda principle and develop depth in analyzing the divine love and the Madhurya Ras of Radha and Krishna. So this represents not deviation but various kinds of exploration, which is very fulfilling. Taking Sripad Madhvacharya's rigorous philosophical framework and revealing the various implications of the Supreme Lord's different Leelas. Sripad Madhvacharya emphasized the Lord's Aishwarya, Gaudiya illuminate the sweetness part, showing how the same transcendental reality manifests different aspects to different devotees. Ye yathamam prapadyante tams tataiva bhajamyaham. The result is a tradition which is very, very rigorously philosophical, yet ecstatically devotional, intellectually sophisticated, yet accessible to the sincere soul who is seeking pure love of God. Both Sripad Madhvacharya and the Gaudiya Acharyas would agree that the purpose of philosophical understanding is not intellectual satisfaction but the provision for deeper spiritual engagement in pure devotional service to the Supreme Lord. And therefore, that service may sometimes manifest in Aishwarya Bhakti or sometimes in Madhurya Bhakti. I offer my prostrated respects and pranams to Sri Vishveshwar Tirtha Swamiji, His Holiness, our very revered, worshipable Gurudev, Shiksha Guru, who for many, many years had maintained very close contact with His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj and ISKCON devotees in Chowpatty and Mumbai especially, and His Holiness Vishvaprassana Tirtha Swami Maharaj, his venerable successor, under whose leadership, guidance, and direction this wonderful conference is manifesting. I offer my pranams to each one of you and invite all of you to consider having another such conference in the holy precincts of ISKCON's Govardhan Eco Village in Palghar under the Bhaktivedanta Research Center. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna, Pranam, Om Namo Narayanaya.
Our heartful thanks to Gaurang Das Prabhuji for giving us a video lecture. He wanted to attend the conference directly, but he is continuously on the travel today and yesterday, because of which he couldn't attend, but he makes sure that his message should be reached to the this audience and this august presence. Now, I would like to invite Sri Madhav Gopinath Prabhu from Hyderabad to deliver his speech. Dr. Kolimarla Madhava Sharma, affectionately known as Madhava Gopinath Das, is a distinguished global leader who seamlessly integrates excellence across enterprise, technology, leadership, Indian knowledge systems, Vedic scholarship, spiritual guidance, and community institution building. Rooted in ancient wisdom and energized by modern innovation, his life exemplifies a rare synthesis of timeless tradition and global professional impact. Professionally, Dr. Madhav Sharma serves as Global Delivery Director at Infosys, leading a diverse global workforce of over 1,000 professionals and managing 100 plus enterprise client accounts across multiple continents. With more than 25 years of global IT industry experience, including 5 years in the United States, he is widely recognized as a Microsoft technology leader, having successfully architected and delivered 100 plus Microsoft Biz Apps implementations across multiple industries and geographies. Academically, he is an alumni of BITS Pilani, where he earned his engineering degree. He holds multiple postgraduate degrees in Jyotisha, Vedanta, Purana, Itihasa, and earned his PhD in Samskrita from Karnataka Sanskrit University. His doctoral research focused on the Bhagavata Purana commentarial tradition, reflecting his profound engagement with classical Vaishnava scholarship. He is the author of widely acclaimed Gita in a Nutshell, a globally appreciated introduction to the Bhagavad Gita, noted for the clarity, accessibility, and philosophical depth. Spiritually inspired by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada and guided by his senior disciple, Dr. Madhava Sharma is an active leader within ISKCON. He serves as the convener of ISKCON Rampalli, Hyderabad, and as a core committee member of the ISKCON Bharata Outreach Ministry, contributing strategically to devotional outreach across India. I think this is his profile, and he needs no further information about him. This is actually enough. But we are very thankful for him to trying to put his all experience gathering and presenting in this seminar. And when we requested him, he wholeheartedly agreed to be present here and wanted to present his thoughts to this historical conference. I welcome and I request him to present his paper.
Shri Gurubhyo Namah. Namasabhaya. My topic is echoes of the same song, parallels between Madhva and Chaitanya Vaishnavism. Since yesterday till now, some of the speakers already spoke about few points. I'm not going to highlight them. I'll concentrate on the other parallels. Before that, two prayers. Mangalacharana. Radhakanta Samarambham Madhva Chaitanya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Parampara. Nama Shreshtham Manamapi Sachiputra Matra Swarupam Rupam Tasyagraja Murupurim Madhurim Goshthavati Radha Kundam Girivaramaho Radhika Madhavasha Prapto Yasya Pratita Krupaya Shri Gurum Tam Natosmi. Yeah.
Can you keep the some tear down? Because it's coming.
Blocking.
Yeah, blocking your face.
Okay, give something else, a chair or something like that where I'll keep so that I can see this.
No, you can see there actually.
They're sitting.
Okay.
Just give me some.
Make it a little bit flat. It will
It's not
come.
going to flat.
It will become
It will not
flat.
go.
This
It will
much
not go.
maximum.
No, it will not.
This much.
Yeah. I think it's okay. Please move on. Yeah. So there are. This is one quote of Baldev Vidyabhushana in his Pramay Ratnavali. Ananda Tirthanama Sukamaya Dhama Yatirjiyat Samsararnavatarenim Yamiha Jana Kirtayanti Buddha. Some say sometimes that there is no glorification or Mangalacharana of Madhvacharya in the Gaudiya works. That is wrong. Here is one example I wanted to say. Now similarities in pramanas and principal axioms. The same verses there's a fundamental verse, Shriman Madhvamato Hari Paratara Satyam Jagat Tattvato. The same similar verse is there yesterday. This is also from Pramay Ratnavali, pointed out by Veeranarayana Panduranga sir. So I don't want to repeat this, but pretty much we accept, as Gauranga Prabhu said, the Panchabheda framework, the three pramanas, and the supreme position of Lord Vishnu, all that. And also Taratamya is also accepted in Brihad Bhagavatamrita. The Taratamya is mentioned of different grades of devotees. But one important point that, however, philosophically we are aligned, at the same time, like the Upasana Paddhati is different. Here there is one particular verse which is there in Sri Chaitanya Manjusha. It is a commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam by Srinatha Chakravarti. He is also contemporary of Lord Chaitanya, Srinatha Chakravarti. He wrote, in that he gave a summary that in one shloka, he gave yeah, you come this. Yeah, please. So this particular verse is talking, everybody please pay little attention that the verse I am going to tell is actually the summary of the Chaitanya Vaishnavism. Philosophical alignment is there, but at the same time the Upasana Paddhati is different. Here see this verse. Aradhyo Bhagavan Rajesha Tanayaha Tadhama Vrindavanam Ramyakachid Upasana Vrajavadu Vargena Ya Kalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanamamalam Prema Pumartho Mahan Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhur Matamidam Tatradarana Paraha. In one shloka, if we have to summarize the Chaitanya Vaishnavism, the speciality is that we worship Nandanandana Krishna, the darling of Vrindavana. Our Upasana is Vrajavadu Vargena Ya Kalpita, in the footsteps of the gopis of Vrindavana. And our highest pramana is Srimad Bhagavatam Pramana Mamalam. That is Srimad Bhagavatam. Our highest Purushartha is Prema Pumartho Mahan. It's not the moksha, it is the Panchama Purushartha, Parama Purushartha moksha. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhur Matamidam. This is the opinion of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Tatradarona Paraha. We have highest regard for this thing. This is a summary. And Srimad Bhagavatam is given a Paramaprasthana position both in the Madhva Sampradaya and the Chaitanya tradition. Madhva tradition and Chaitanya tradition, Srimad Bhagavatam is accepted as highest pramana and Paramaprasthana. I am using the word prasthana, please make a note of it because it's started by Madhvacharya. This Garuda Purana verses are quoted by Madhvacharya, later repeated by Jiva Goswami and many others. Arthoyam Brahma Sutranam Bharatardha Vinirnayaha Gayatri Bhashya Rupasau Vedardha Paribrahmitaha. Just let's focus on these things, 4 things. Arthoyam Brahma Sutranam. Srimad Bhagavatam is the natural commentary on the Bhagavatam. This Madhvacharya had said for the first time. And some people say that this verse is not there in Garuda Purana, but that is proved to be wrong. Some of the old editions of Garuda Purana, this verse is still there and later is referred by many other places. I also have a copy of this. Bharatardha Vinirnayaha. Next is that Srimad Bhagavatam is the commentary on Bhagavad Gita. Bharatardha is Bhagavad Gita, Bharatardha Vinirnayaha. In that way, it is commentary on the Vishvaprassana, the Bhagavad Gita. 4th line, Vedardha Paribrahmitaha. This is Vedardha Paribrahm. Vedardhas are Upanishads, Vedardha Paribrahmitaha. It is the commentary on the Upanishads. That way, Shruti Prasthana and Brahma Sutra, Nyaya Prasthana. The 3 Prasthanas, Prasthana Trayi, and Madhvacharya is accepting that Srimad Bhagavatam is actually the Parama Prasthana because it's the commentary on all other things and also the Gayatri Rupa. We recently had a seminar we conducted in Vrindavan and we launched Purana Tilakam. I have the brochure if anybody want, I can give after this class. We have discussed each one of these lines. One speaker spoke, a list of scholars. Purananam Samarupaha. This is like Samaveda. And also there is another, this thing it is told that Sararupaha. It is the essence of all the Puranas. Sakshat Bhagavatodityaha. This is actually directly revealed by the Supreme Lord. Dvadasha Skanda Yuktoyam Shatavicheda Samyutaha. It has the 100 sections. This is again many times confusing. Some people say that Srimad Bhagavatam has 335 chapters, some say 332, whatever. But 100, these 100 actually Vichedas are mentioned in Bhagavata itself in one of the chapters in the 12th canto, 12th skanda. Grando Ashtadasha Sahasraha. It has 18,000 verses. Some say that Bhagavatam has only 14,094 verses, but that is wrong. Each Granda is 32 syllables. If we calculate that by, we'll see these 18,000 verses. And Devi Bhagavata does not have the 18,000 verses. So Srimad Bhagavatam, the Sukha Bhagavatam is the only thing that can be called as the Bhagavat Purana. This is what is being talked about here. Srimad Bhagavata. So Madhvacharya, the first one to accept Bhagavata is the Parama Prasthana. And Madhvacharya also wrote commentary on Bhagavatam. And no other Purana he wrote commentary. He wrote commentary on the Prasthana Trayi and also the Vedas and Srimad Bhagavatam. So it's a unique position. So Srimad Bhagavatam is Purana Tilakam. Jiva Goswami, in the similar lines, Jiva Goswami and many others also wrote commentary on Bhagavatam, Kramasandarbha. Jiva Goswami also wrote Shat Sandarbhas. That is a thematic commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam. Jayadhvaja Tirtha or Vijayadhvaja Tirtha, he wrote Padaratnavali commentary. Similarly, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and many others wrote commentaries in Gaudiya Parampara. Actually, Srimad Bhagavatam has the only scripture in the whole world which has more than 100 commentaries across all religions, all traditions, all paramparas and all branches of different paramparas. Srimad Bhagavatam is the only one which has, and this importance is given starting from Madhvacharya and in every parampara it is recognized like that. Another thing that is common, 3 principal commentators both in Madhva and Gaudiya traditions, Madhvacharya, Jayatirtha and Vyasatirtha, famously known as Munitraya. They are the principal commentators of the various texts and also the texts of Madhvacharya. Similarly here, Sridhara Swami, Jiva Goswami, Baladev Vidyabhushan are the 3 famous commentators. You may be a little surprised with the name of Sridhara Swami. I'll come back to the discussion. We accept Sridhara Swami not as from Shankara Sampradaya. Gaudiya tradition considers Sridhara Swami as a Vaishnava authority. Here you see, this is from Tattva Sandarbha of Jiva Goswami. He said, Parama Vaishnavanam, Sridhara Swami Charananam. He is actually telling that Sridhara Swami is Parama Vaishnava. Then why did he write something sound like Mayavada? Here he explains Jiva Goswami. But to entice the Advaitavadis, nowadays prominent all over the central part of the country, those days, 500 years back, and elsewhere, to become for them to become absorbed in the glories of the Supreme Lord, he mixed into his writing traces of their theories. So he has mixed in few places, it appears like Mayavad, but That is only to attract them. But in principle, we accept Sridhar Swami as Parama Vaishnava and we follow his Bhagavata commentary. I'll tell you with few exceptions. And one place, there's a conversation between Vallabhacharya and Mahaprabhu. Vallabhacharya says, I wrote a commentary and I actually refuted Sridhar Swami. So Mahaprabhu didn't like. He said, Prabhu hasi kahe, Swami na mane ye jana vesha bithare tare kariye ganana. He said that one who does not accept Swami, actually as an authority, I consider him a prostitute. In fact, this is he spoke little heavily to Vallabhacharya. Of course, later they both reconciled. Mahaprabhu again went to take prasadam in Vallabhacharya's place. Vallabhacharya is also great devotee and great Vaishnava, great authority, and we accept that. But the point to say that insulting Sridhar Swami, Mahaprabhu didn't like. But at the same time, that does not mean that Mahaprabhu embraced the Mayavadi philosophy. He clearly said, Mayavadi bhashya sunile hai sarvanasha. He said that if anybody hears the commentary of the Mayavadis, he said that they will be doomed, they will be spoiled. Yeah, see this distinction here. So, there are commentaries of Sridhar Swami on Bhagavad Gita, Vishnu Purana and Bhagavatam. We only take Bhagavatam and in few places only our Acharyas have quoted Vishnu Purana, but nowhere pretty much, I have not seen anywhere quoting the Bhagavad Gita. So, the point here I am trying to make is that Sridhar Swami is accepted as a Vaishnava authority. Sridhar Swami is accepted as a Vaishnava authority. In fact, some even say connect Sridhar Swami to Vishnu Swami Parampara. That is also quoted by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, but that is not the point of discussion here. His Bhagavatam commentary we take as pramana like every other sampradaya. Another thing that is similarity is that see, one other point coming back to this. This does not mean that everything that Sridhar Swami said in Bhagavatam is actually agreed upon by the Goswamis. Many places, Jiva Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, they beg to Sridhar Swami and say that we differ from you in these things, and they give a clear, detailed Vaishnava conclusions, and they said that some of your statements may be misunderstood, so with your permission we are explaining. So they kept the Mahaprabhu's word, at the same time did not compromise on Vaishnava interpretation. Another important point I'll tell you that Jiva Goswami himself, he actually 150 times, note this point, 150 times, he changed the Sridhar Swami's reading and of Bhagavata text and put the Chitsukacharya's reading. Chitsukacharya is also a Mayavadi. And his Bhagavatam commentary is only available bits and pieces in Vrindavan Research Institute, not available as a whole. But the text, he said, should not be changed. So that is the textual integrity. Gaudiya Vaishnavism is so much importance for the textual integrity. Jiva Goswami did not want textual any changes to be done. In another place, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said that one verse in Bhagavatam, he replaced mukti with bhakti. But Mahaprabhu didn't like it. He said, no. The meaning of mukti, there is bhakti, but I don't want you to change. So, we follow Sridhar Swami, but some of his textual changes that he made are actually reverted by Jiva Goswami while writing the commentary. We follow his commentary as long as it is in line with the Vaishnava tradition. Another point, Gaudiya traditions like the Madhva tradition gave equal weightage to philosophy and practice. Madhvacharya established the 8 Ashtamatas for the worship and the practice of Krishna Bhakti, and the Uttaradi Mat, and later it is branched into 3 matas, Uttaradi Mat, Vyasaraya Mat and Rayar Mat, for propagating the scriptures and answering to the critics. Similarly, Nityananda Prabhu said we have only 2 things, Pashanda Dalanam, Prema Pracharam. Pashanda Dalanam is criticizing the Mayavada philosophies, Buddhist philosophies and all our Purva Pakshas, and at the same time doing the Prema Pracharam. This is very much in line with Madhva thought. Another thing, Bhaktivinoda Thakur took from Navadvip Mahatya, he wrote a book, in that he said that Mahaprabhu took 2 things from Madhva Parampara so much. One is Kevala Advaita Nirasana, the complete defeat of the Mayavada philosophy. Second is Krishna Murti Sevana, worshipping the deity of Lord Krishna. These 2 things, Srila Prabhupada also puts that Religious practice without philosophy is sentiment, and philosophy without religious practice is mental speculation. So like Madhvacharya, Srila Prabhupada also emphasized both on philosophy and religious practice. This is very much in common. Now coming to the famous Achintya Bheda Veda, how is it similar to Dvaitavada? I will not spend much time. Yesterday we spent a lot of time. Today also Gauranga Prabhu spoke. Achintya Bheda Veda is equal to Vishvesha of Madhva Parampara. In short, Achintya Bheda Veda is a relationship in which within a single reality, both difference and non-difference are simultaneously established in a way that cannot be fully grasped by mundane logic, but it is known only by Shruti and by the direct experience of the wise. What is Vishesha? That very power of the Swarupa by which even in the absence of real difference, difference like behavior, dharma, dharmi, guna, gunin appears. To summarize, the usage of Achintya Bheda Veda is limited only up to the relationship between the Vishesha, that is the possessor of Shakti, and that Shakti which is essential to his very nature, Swarupa Bhuta Shakti. That is the Achintya Veda word indicates only the relation, it has nothing further beyond. Many people misinterpret this to be equation between Jiva and Ishvara and difference. So the parampara, this is another question that needs to be, that's like puzzling many people for centuries. How can we say that Gaudiya Parampara is a branch of Madhva Parampara? I remember one point of a time in the past, some say that no, we have, some people say that there's nothing, Gaudiya Parampara has nothing to do with Madhva Parampara. At some point of time, it's Pejawar Swami who took the initiative and connected the dots, and in fact all the Ashtamatas gave letters that ISKCON is very much an integral part and the Gaudiya tradition is part of the Madhva Sampradaya. After that, so many people have worked on different things. I was one of them because I am from the Gaudiya tradition. At the same time, I have studied under Dr. Srinivas Varkade, Dr. Veeranarayana Pandurangi sir, Dr. Tirmal Kulkarni and many other Dvaita scholars during my MPhil and PhD days, and I spent a long time in Bengaluru studying under many other Dvaita scholars. So there is a perfect connect here. See, some say that the Madhva Parampara starts with Hamsa, Brahma and Sanakadi Rishis and so on to Madhvacharya and the current day tradition. Here the Gaudiya tradition lists that Krishna, Brahma, Narada, Vyasa and Madhvacharya. We don't see Vyasa there. Yesterday also I was discussing with Srinivas Murthy sir about this thing. I'll come back to that. If you see only list until here, there are only two extra names, Jnana Sindhu and Dayanidhi. Let's park them. I highlighted in the red, I will answer. Otherwise, until Vyasa Tirtha, there is an alignment. Everybody has to agree. These two extra names, to my surprise, one name is an adjective to Jayatirtha, that is Jnana Sindhu. Dayanidhi is an adjective to Vidyanidhi Tirtha. So, these are considered as separate names. I'll bring the manuscripts and I'll publish that. But we are actually in alignment till Vyasa Tirtha. I'll also come to the other differences, the Sanakadi Rishis and the Vyasa connect in the next slides. So later we also have Lakshmipati till Srila Prabhupada. I'll also come back to this. Now there are some questions. I will answer these frequently asked questions. It is the first one to point out that Gaudiya tradition is nothing to do with Madhva Parampara is by S.K. Day, one Bengali scholar. He wrote a book, in that also he mentioned this point. He said that this fabrication is done by Baladeva Vidyabhushana. Before Baladeva Vidyabhushana, nobody identified Gaudiya connection with Madhvas. He actually fabricated, he actually speculated. That is his argument. That is bulldozed. Because Kavikarnapuri also mentioned in his Gaura Ganodesha Deepika, the entire parampara starting from Brahma and up to Vyasatirtha and later. So it is many centuries before, many years before, it is already there. So Baladeva Vidyabhushana, because he is coming from a Madhva school, he did not manufacture it. So that argument is wrong. And they say that Lakshmipati Tirtha, after Vyasatirtha, here we have Lakshmipati Tirtha. So some say that in Madhva records, Matha records, this is not there. But there is a benefit of doubt given by B.N.K. Sharma, Dr. B.N.K. Sharma. In fact, in his Dvaita Vedanta philosophy book, he clearly mentions that there is a concept called Bedi Sannyasi. There were some Bedi Sannyasis who were not given the status of Pitadipatis, but they went to North India to propagate the science of Krishna. So, Lakshmipati Tirtha could be one such person. He said that. He clearly mentioned in his Dvaita Vedanta philosophy book. See, so there is a connect. And in other places also, it is given about Lakshmipati Tirtha details. One more thing is how the title Puri came in Vaishnava Sampradaya. So, the connectivity, many people actually say Madhavendra Puri and Ishwar Puri, but there is one more Puri in between, that is Vishnu Puri. I'll come back to that. Why Puri title in the next slide, because we don't see that in the all others are Tirtha and suddenly there are Puris coming, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually took initiation from a Bharati. How is it? So one other question that is raised is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's discussion with Raghunath Tirtha. See, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is coming from Vyasarai Math, and he is talking to Raghunath Tirtha of the Uttaradi Math. He said, your Sampradaya, your Matha, in that sense, not that identifying himself away from Madhva Sampradaya. If he is identifying away, he will not come sit with him and go to his place and talk. He is not staying in Udupi. He is actually somewhere away. Mahaprabhu went there and he sat with him, took prasad there. He was mistaken. Mahaprabhu was mistaken as a Mayavadi sannyasi, but he was corrected that understanding. So we have to take like that. And another question that B.N.K. Sharma is raising is that why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not meet Vyasa Tirtha. Both of them are contemporaries. But that is also addressed because the year that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to South India, and Vyasaraya is in Hampi because he is helping Krishna Raya with some difficulties there. He actually took the position of a king. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy is not to meet kings, so he didn't meet. I'll close. Now, any shades of parampara has four things. There is Acharya parampara, there is a Bindu parampara, there is a Mantra Diksha parampara, there is Siksha parampara. The Madhva parampara that is listing from Brahma and Sanakadi Rishis is the Acharya parampara or Sannyasa parampara. But the Chaitanya parampara that is listing is that Siksha parampara. That's why we were saying that Vyasadeva and Madhvacharya, because Vyasadeva received Siksha, Madhvacharya received Siksha from Vyasadeva. If you see later figures also, they are not direct Mantra Diksha connected. Many examples are there. So both are same. We are emphasizing the Siksha stream, you are emphasizing the Acharya stream. In some paramparas, they emphasize also a Bindu stream, like the Vallabhacharya parampara. She is direct, from the Bindu parampara, and at the same time, there is a Sishya or Diksha parampara that is there. So, all four shades of every sampradaya are there. So, that's what we are highlighting Siksha parampara, you are highlighting the Acharya parampara. It's one and the same. And there are many similarities in cultural also. Tilaka Dharana, yesterday, Pundarik Goswami sir is saying that they also have Radharaman Parivar, they have Tilak like the Madhvas wear, and that is very much Gaudiya. And their Mudra Dharana is also there, and the Ashadi Ekadasi one has to take from the teacher, that is also there in the Hari Bhakti Vilasa. But we don't follow nowadays because you see some of the gurus have thousands of disciples, all of them assembling in the same place and taking from the same guru is difficult, so that is not followed. And the Ekadasi Upavasa and the rules are pretty much same for Gaudiya and the Madhva traditions. And Ekadashi Shraddha is prohibited for both of them. A Mantra Diksha Vidhi is same. Performance of Shodha Samskaras is same. There are also some differences. Recently I saw that last Ekadashi is Pakshavardhini Ekadashi because 2 sunrises Amavasya is there, and we didn't follow the fasting on Ekadashi. We did the fasting on Dvadasi, and yesterday morning Trayodasi we took Prasad. But I see Madhvas took day before yesterday. So there is some differences. And the color of dress during color of dress during Archana, that is different. And also we do the Sitalapundram, Tilakadharana. It is mentioned in Hari Bhakti Vilas that while doing the deity worship from the Purana Pramana that one has to wear white dress. So we wear white color dress when other than the sannyasis. But I see that there are other Pramanas also. I see some of the Madhvas here also. They were doing Archana with the colorful dresses. And there are many similarities in Dasa Sahitya also. Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Purandar Das have written many songs exactly similar in meaning. I am highlighting a Bengali song and a Kannada song, both written in typed here in Devanagari. And many songs like that. And one important thing that is common is South Indian roots. all the paramparas have South Indian roots as projected by Bhagavatam also. All the great acharyas take birth in South India. There's a verse in Bhagavatam in the 11th skanda. So 5 out of 6 Goswamis of Gaudiya Sampradaya have roots in South India. Srila Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Jiva Goswami, they are all South Indians of Krishna Yajurveda, and also a revelation to all of you that they are all from Karnataka. Gopala Bhatta Goswami is from Sri Vaishnava family of Srirangam. That is very much documented in Chaitanya Charitamrita. And Gadadhar Bhatta is one of the 2 prominent disciples of Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. One stream is from Kaviraj Goswami, our sir came here. Yeah, he's from Kaviraj Goswami's parampara. The other parampara is Gadadhara parampara. Gadadhara Bhatta is also like Trailangi. In fact, Vallabhacharya families and the Gadadhara Bhatta families, there were so many marriages in that, because Vallabhacharya belongs to Bharadwaja Gotra and Gadadhara Bhatta belongs to the Kaundinya Gotra. There were families also, because both are Trilinga Bhattas. Yeah. So even Raghunath Bhatta, as per Gadadhar Bhatta's descendants, Raghunath Bhatta is also Telugu, but he settled in Bengal. He went to learn Navadvipa, his parents. So that is why, they were settled there. But actually the connection between Gadadhar Bhatta as well as Raghunath Bhatta is because both are Telugu. And Baldev Vidyabhushan also studied and travelled in South India. He also has Madhva connection. So majority of the commentators from Gaudiya also have South Indian roots. Here some pramanas are there. Jiva Goswami is saying in Vaishnava Toshni that Karnataka Bhumipatihi, they're Brahmanas from the Karnataka. And also Sanatana Goswami is saying here, that he is also from, Rupa Goswami is also from Karnataka. There are references here. The same family there. In fact, Jiva is the son of Anupam. Anupam is the brother of Rupa and Sanatan. They're same family. And Sadhana and Sadhya, here both Madhva Parampara and Gaudiya Parampara accepts Bhakti is the Panchama Purushartha and Parama Purushartha. Vaidhi Bhakti and Raganu Bhakti both are practiced in Gaudiya Sampradaya. Vaidhi Bhakti is emphasized in Madhva Sampradaya. Madhurya Bhava emphasized there. Aishwarya Bhava is emphasized in Madhva Sampradaya. Dasya Bhava and Manjari Bhava both are practiced in Gaudiya Sampradaya, but predominantly Dasya Bhava is practiced in Madhva Sampradaya. Here we have 64 items of devotional service, and Shravanam Kirtanam, the 9 are highlighted in Madhva Sampradaya. And the 5 most important items of devotional service here, Nama Sankirtan, Sadhu Sangha, Bhagavad Shravana, Mathura Vasa, and Archana, Krishna Archana. They are pretty much common for both the paramparas. And the last one is Moksha. The definition of Moksha for the Gaudiyas is taken from Bhagavatam, because Bhagavatam is the Parama Pramana. Muktir hitvanyatha rupam swarupena vyavastitihi. Liberation is the permanent situation of the form of the living entity in the Swarupa. And what is the Swarupa? It is told as Jivera Swarupahi Krishnera Nityadas, that eternal servant of Krishna. The same thing is also talked about here in the Madhva Sampradaya. Muktir naija sukhanubhutihi, experiencing bliss in Swarupa. And also Mahatmya Jnana Purvastu Sudruda Sarvatodika Sneho Bhaktiriti Proktaha Taya Muktir Tathanyata. Taya Muktir Tathanyata. So that is the same thing is talked about here also. The prema is the Panchama Purushartha. The ultimate goal is not impersonal liberation. Ultimate goal is to be an eternal servant of the Supreme Lord in the Vaikuntha planets. Om Tat Sat, Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. I'll stop here. If anybody has any questions or comments, I can, with your permission, take few questions. Yes. Can we switch on the lights? And can you give him mic, or he can speak so that we can hear? We are recording, so your questions in the mic, that will be helpful. Can we give him mic? Or you can come here.
I think I'm loud enough.
Yes. Yeah.
So, the question was regarding the issue of Tirtha Swamiji. Now, he also happens, or there are 2 other commentaries that are also attributed to him.
Vishnu Purana and Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah. So, the Gita Subodhini, how do you reconcile that? Because there are multiple Advaitic passages over there. So, how does, or has any Gaudiya Acharya also addressed those issues?
Yeah, very good question. The question is about Sridhar Swami also wrote commentary on Vishnu Purana. Sridhar Swami is also wrote commentary called Subodhini on the Bhagavad Gita. Now, what is the opinion of Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas? As I said, the first Bhagavad Gita commentary in the Gaudiya Parampara actually came from the Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, full one, and later Baldev Vidyabhushana. They did not take verbatim anywhere of Sridhar Swami. Whatever they have taken from Sridhar Swami, that actually are taken from Shankara. And everybody took the same thing. Some of the Shankara statements related to three gunas, for example. That is there in Dvaita, that is there by Ramanuja, that is there anything. So there is nothing that they have taken verbatim from Sridhar Swami's Bhagavad Gita. Also, in few places only I saw quoting the Vishnu Purana commentary of Sridhar Swami. But again, the point is very clear. What we are saying is that we follow the Bhagavatam commentary of Sridhar Swami. We accept Sridhar Swami as a Vaishnava. The reason why some places it's sounding like Mayavadi philosophy, it is to attract the Mayavadis to Bhagavatam. That is what Sridhar Swami told. One other point I forgot to tell in this, that our Sampradaya also, there are people who have taken, including Mahaprabhu, the sannyasa ashrama is accepted from the Mayavadi sannyasi. But the mantra diksha is not received. So we also believe that though Sridhar Swami has the Swami title and he has the sannyasa diksha from the Shankar Sampradaya, but his mantra diksha, he is like Vaishnava. He has taken Vaishnava mantra. That is our stand. It's not that everything Sridhar Swami told we followed. I told 150 times Jiva Goswami did not take Sridhara's version. He took Chitsuka Acharya. Chitsuka is Mayavadi. But we took it because it's the original text. Original text cannot be changed. Yeah, our stand is that wherever it is not in line with Vaishnava philosophy, wherever it needs explanation, wherever it is not clear, with the permission of Sridhar Swami and the blessings of Lord Chaitanya, Sanatana Goswami, Jiva Goswami and Baldev Vidyabhushan have actually gave a different commentary in line with the Vaishnava theology for those verses. Yes, we believe that Sridhar Swami's Advaita tradition as far as the sannyasa ashrama is concerned, not as per Mandir Diksha. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is example. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also took sannyas initiation from Keshav Bharati, but his mantra guru is Ishwarapuri. That is the connection between Madhva and Chaitanya traditions. Yes. Yeah, just give one or two questions.
I have seen your slide. I think you explained why you are giving such importance to Bhagavatam. My question is, I am a student, I am learning over here. Here you are not giving such importance to Brahma Sutra aspect or Yukti aspect. You are giving such importance to Bhagavatam. Even though you are not giving such importance to Ashtadasha Puranas, you are saying it is a Sara of Puranas, that's why we are giving the importance to Bhagavatam. Only depending upon Bhagavatam doesn't mean that you are getting all the spiritual knowledge and you are going to... I think what I'm saying is the question is, I think it is not fully, if you only study the Bhagavatam, you can't understand that. Because everything is interconnected. If you don't study Brahma Sutra, you can't understand the Bhagavad Gita. You can't study Bhagavad Gita, you can't understand the Bhagavatam. How you define that?
Okay. It's not me who is saying that. I was telling it's Madhvacharya who gave this thing, Arthoyam Brahma Sutranam, for the first time, Bharatartha Vinaya. In fact, he had accepted. Bhagavatam is a commentary on Bhagavad Gita, Bharatartha Vinaya. Bhagavatam is the commentary on Brahma Sutras, Arthoyam Brahma Sutranam. Bhagavatam is a commentary on Bhagavad Gita, Bharatartha Vinaya. Bhagavatam is a commentary of Upanishads, Vedartha Paribrahmita. I said this much. But I did not say that we did not read Upanishads, we did not read Brahma Sutras, we did not read Bhagavad Gita. As I told, we have two illustrious commentaries on Bhagavad Gita, Baldev Vidyabhushan's Gita Bhushana and also Sarardha Varshini of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. We also have commentary on the Vedanta Sutras, Govinda Bhashya by Baldev Vidyabhushana. We also have commentary on Upanishads by our Acharyas. Ishopanishad commentary is written by Baldev Vidyabhushana and many others. We do study them. We also have, like Madhva Sampradaya has many other books as Nyaya Sudha and many other things. We also have almost every branch of philosophy, we do have books. And we also have compilation of all the Puranas. that is Hari Bhakti Vilasa. Whatever is required for Hari Bhakti, that is taken there, and that is also there. So we do read everything else, not only Bhagavatam, but our understanding is that Bhagavatam is the Parama Prasthana. That is very much in line with Madhvacharya and the Gaudiya Acharyas. Thank you very much.
I thank Sri Madhava Gopinath Prabhu ji for exploring the
Krishna.
commonalities
My
between the Madhva
respectful-
Sampradaya and the Gaudiya Sampradaya. He was clearly saying that this commonality was not found by Baladev Upadhyaya, but previous to the Baladev Upadhyaya also there were many acharyas quote many references from Madhva philosophy and Madhvacharya scriptures, and in fact they accepted the lineage till the Vyasa Tirtha. It was a very interesting topic by Madhava Gopinath Prabhuji. And now I request Dr. Nicholas Raymond to deliver his talk on the post modern world, what we call now. In that, what it is to have a Vishnu Bhakti. So what is the role of Vishnu Bhakti in the postmodern world? I will give a brief introduction of Nicholas Raymond. He holds a PhD in computer science from University of Paris Sorbonne and previously worked as an engineer and consultant. His early research focused on cellular automata and theoretical computer science. After visiting India in the 1990s, he became deeply interested in Indian culture and languages. In 2016, at age of 48, he moved to Bangalore and enrolled at the Karnataka Sanskrit University to masters ancient texts like the Vedas, Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita in their original language. Raymond bridges his technical and linguistic backgrounds by exploring computational approaches within India and Western philosophy. His work often examines the parallel between logic and Indian traditions, modern computing. Author of the philosophical investigation of IS project failures, and he is basically took the Diksha from our Swamiji, Sri Vishvaprassana Tirtha Swamiji, and he wears the Gopi Chandana daily, and he regularly recites the Hare Rama Hare Krishna mantra. So he is deeply involved in the Vishnu Bhakti now. I wholeheartedly request him to present his thoughts on the Vishnu Bhakti in the postmodern world.
Hare Krishna. In the program, there was something written next to my name about Vrindavan, and that's not the subject of my talk, of course, but it's interesting because there's something that you can meet in Vrindavan, that there's something that you can observe. Because there, basically, you have quite a number of people like me, right? Westerners who have become devotees of Krishna, thanks to ISKCON, mostly, so a branch of the Madhva Sampradaya, according to the previous lecture, and I agree that this is pretty much the case. And so the question is, why do we, those who have chosen to become Krishna devotees and were born in the West and educated in the West, why did we make this choice? And so the question is about the postmodern world, right? Because that's where we live right now. And that has to do with the answer. Why are Westerners taking Diksha and becoming Sri Krishna devotees? And so this is, in fact, a very significant philosophical question, and it goes to the very heart of philosophy. both in India and in the West. Most devotees of Krishna do not inquire about these very deep motivations that go down to these very buried philosophical roots. And yet, that's the reason, right? And so I am going to try to explain this mostly unconscious reasons that many of us have to become Krishna devotees. So, in the West and in India as well, philosophy is understood as making claims about knowledge. And today, in the West, this is absolutely central. Everything revolves, supposedly, around knowledge, right? And the West prides itself on its scientific knowledge, right? So philosophically, what is considered to be knowledge? And there are, of course, differences in the West compared to India, although today, because of these two last centuries of interaction between India and the West, increasingly the understanding of what knowledge means is very much influenced by the Western view. For example, I would venture to say that today, when somebody says jnana in Sanskrit, he means something different from what jnana meant 500 years ago, because the word jnana has kind of become captured in modern Sanskrit usage, in philosophical usage, by the meaning of the word knowledge. And so this is something that is not necessarily very easy to spot, but I'm going to try to explain what I mean by this. Knowledge in the West, in Western philosophy, is described as a truth claim, right? The most usual definition of knowledge in the West is justified true belief, JTB. Okay, that's the standard understanding of what knowledge means. And so it goes back to ancient Western philosophers like Plato, for example, or Aristotle and a few others. And so basically, it's a belief. What is true must be a belief. You need to believe it. But it needs to be true, and it needs to be justified. Let's forget about the justification part for the moment, but basically knowledge is made up of true beliefs, right? And so what I will venture, and I will try to justify that claim, is that any kind of truth claim is a crime. When you say A is true, you're committing a crime. And I believe that this is what Madhvacharya meant when he called the Mayavadins demons, right? And this is also the reason why he said that the jiva is separate from Ishvara. Because the Mayavadins are saying, eventually, your jiva you will realize that your jiva is actually the same as Brahman, right? But Madhva is saying no. And if you say, like the Mayavadins, that you will fuse with knowledge, or you are actually knowledge and you will realize it, you're doing something demonic. And so this is very, I mean, it's something that needs to be discovered. It seems very strange at first, right? But these kinds of claims have been made for at least 3,000 years, right? Saying that a truth claim is a crime is just a modern rephrasing of something that a number of philosophical groups, both in India and in the West, were making 2,000, 2,500 years ago, and probably a little bit before that. For example, in the West, you had a man called Pyrrho of Elis, who was the founder of the skeptical school in Greece. And it seems that he had learned his doctrine from India. He was part of Alexander the Great conquest, and he studied in Taxila. And he was exposed to a number of Indian thinkers. And he went back to Greece by saying, basically, every time you claim that something is true, you're doing something evil that will disturb your mind, and as a result, you will feel dukkha, right? And of course, he is not alone in doing this. For example, in India, you had the Ajnana at that time who were making similar claims, right? And so the pure Ajnana schools have disappeared, but we can see that the arguments of the Ajnana have been absorbed by many Indian schools, including, for example, Advaita Vedanta, right? Because when they talk about the snake and the rope, they are making an Ajnana claim, in fact, right? But of course, what they are doing is that they are, at the very end, saving knowledge by saying you can become knowledge, right? You cannot have knowledge, but you can become knowledge. And that's the idea of the Jivan Mukti. The Jivan Mukti is someone who has realized that he is not different from Brahman, and as a result, he is knowledge, because Brahman is knowledge, right? And this is what all of Vaishnava theology, and Madhva in particular, contradict. They say, no, this is demonic, right? And so my understanding of this, and that was a very important understanding for me, because I came from an atheistic background. My parents didn't believe in any kind of religion, or so they said. And I was raised as, quote unquote, a scientist, right? I did a PhD in computer science, etc. So basically, I was raised in the idea that knowledge was absolutely fantastic and necessary, and that as a result, old-fashioned stuff like God and any kind of belief in a higher being was just rubbish, right? And so you're starting to understand, I think, why I'm claiming that truth claims are a crime. Because truth claims inevitably lead to atheism. It has always been the case, right? If you go down that slope, eventually you will say, I have truth, and so I don't need God. You will always eventually, by having this idea that you can grasp truth and make it your own in one way or another, you will eventually think that Ishvara is just superfluous, and that as a result he probably doesn't exist, right? And that's the problem today, right? The problem today in India is not Islam, for example, because at least the Muslims are saying that Allah exists, and Allah is a word for Ishvara. There are many differences, but at least they're not denying divinity. However, the idea that we can be scientists and have knowledge is destroying India. It has already destroyed the West. The West is completely finished. And if it is not countered, that idea, because it's not propagated by anybody, it just propagates itself. It's a virus, right? It's like a little bacteria that infects people's minds and then jumps from one mind to another. And so that's why truth claims are so evil, because it's infectious. As soon as you say to someone, I have made a truth claim and I can demonstrate to you that it is true, that person will want to do the same, right? It's It's extremely attractive and addictive, right? And so I think that basically what Madhva did was to fight against that, right? The separation he talks about is basically a way to be practically and reasonably skeptical, right? Because if you say, I am ajnana, people are going to say, but you doubt everything, including God, right? So you cannot be just ajnana. You have, because ajnana will lead nowhere, basically. People are going to say, how do you know that the door exists? So as a result, when you try to exit the room, you will hit the wall because you're not sure that the door is there, right? And so ajnana and skeptical philosophies have always ran into these problems, right? Denying knowledge is not enough. You have to say, I deny knowledge because I have something else. And this is exactly what theism in general and Vaishnava theology is doing. All these positions are saying, basically, I don't have knowledge, but I don't need knowledge because I have put my shraddha into Ishvara. I am following Ishvara, and as a result, I don't need knowledge. I don't know that Ishvara exists. Ishvara knows that I exist, but I don't know anything. But I trust. I trust. That's what saves me, right? I have put my faith in a guide, right? And of course, that guide, in the case of Vaishnavism, is Krishna, right? He is the avatar of the deity that comes to us and guides us by, for example, reciting the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, right? So we receive guidance from the deity through an intermediary, through an avatar, an incarnation. And as a result, because we trust in these advice, we do not need to consider them true. Truth is not necessary. If you ask someone where Poornaprajna Vidyapeetha is, you don't need to have an absolutely accurate description down to the last atom of everything that is between where you are and Poornaprajna Vidyapeetha. Even if you have relatively inaccurate indications, you will still find the place. And so basically that is what we get as theistic believers. We believe that even though the language we receive from the deity is not necessarily 100% accurate, it doesn't matter because it guides us in the right direction. And we have faith that even though our trajectory is not always absolutely smooth and straight, it leads where we need to be, which is basically Vaikuntha and serving Vishnu, right? And so philosophically, and I will conclude with this, theism is reasonable and practical skepticism. Theism is what skepticism became in order to be reasonable, right? And so this is something that is very often misunderstood, but I think that it is very important. I think that the whole idea of Dvaita is basically to present skepticism, so the rejection of truth claims, in a manner that doesn't lead to absurd things like, I don't know where the door is. And of course, I do believe that Ishvara exists. I think that everything testifies about that. But I cannot prove it. And it doesn't matter because I believe it. And I believe it enough to be certain. You can reach certainty through Shraddha. You don't need truth. And that's what bhakti is. Bhakti is the reaction to the discovery that you don't need truth, that you just need to follow whoever is guiding you appropriately. That's it. Thank you.
I have a question. I have a question. Please give caption and a sub-caption to your talk.
Sorry?
Please give a caption and a sub-caption to your talk.
I would say theism is reasonable skepticism.
That needs some explanation.
That's what I just did in the talk. Of course, it needs to be explained, but basically what I just did is that I am trying to show that claims of knowledge created skepticism. It was a reaction. And the reaction, like always, had a problem, right? When you react to something, there is a problem. And then theism is a reaction to the reaction in order to make it possible to actually make us realize, and that's the real moksha, that we do not need knowledge. We do not need truth claims. It's enough to be guided appropriately. If Krishna shows us the way, like he did with Arjuna, we don't need to have absolutely perfect descriptions. And in any case, it is impossible because basically, if you try to give an accurate description of this room, for example, and of course Ishvara can do that, it would not fit our mind, right? The position of every atom in the walls, all the biological processes happening in our bodies, that's the actual description of the room. But we cannot fit that in our little minds. Our brain is just too small. And so as a result, we cannot process true statements. Ishvara is able to tell us what a truth claim is, but it wouldn't fit in any of the hard drives of any computer. It would far outstrip, all the computers in the world, right? Because even just this room is made up of so many things that Ishvara controls that it's totally impossible to describe. And so as a result, he has to give us a simplified form of guidance, like the Bhagavad Gita, which is not fully accurate. But it is what we need, because we can understand it, we can be guided towards him in bhakti, and as a result, it's enough. It's exactly what we need. We cannot process true claims.
That means everything leads to agnosticism.
Everything is somewhat inaccurate. Basically, in engineering, it's like that. When you do a blueprint, you always indicate the tolerance, right? You're saying this part needs to measure, 17.5 inches with a tolerance of an eighth of an inch, right? It means that the blueprint is not completely accurate, but it's good enough, right? Everything that has to do with science and engineering, and I know it because I was trained as an engineer and then I specialized in computer science, is inaccurate. You cannot have perfect accuracy. It's never possible. But engineering is good enough, right? Cars run, fans and AC work, and everything like that, but with tolerances, right? With slight margins of inaccuracy. And I think that basically that's what theism is in religion. It is reasonable description of what wisdom, true wisdom, can be. It's a reliable guidance, even though it is not completely accurate because it cannot be.
Fine.
I thank Nicholas Raymond, Dr. Nicholas Raymond. These words, knowledge, truth, are heavily loaded words, and they have strong Western philosophical backgrounds. So before analyzing his talk, we need to have a little bit of Western philosophical background. Why he is negating the knowledge? Because knowledge means absolute truth in Western philosophy, and truth is changed its meaning time to time. So Bible's truth is different, Socrates' truth different, Plato's truth is different. So these are very different terminologies. When he says that we have to negate knowledge, it doesn't mean that we have to negate jnana. So jnana and knowledge are two different aspects. True, and these are very,
I will just qualify this. Jnana, as used, for example, by Madhvacharya, is not the same as knowledge.
yeah.
But today, if you read a sentence by Madhvacharya, people will understand jnana as knowledge. That's the problem. The mean has shifted, and therefore the word jnana itself has changed its meaning, even though it is in a sloka, a commentary. It doesn't mean the same thing anymore, because language changes over time. And so that's the problem now. The problem now is that both jnana and knowledge have the same meaning. Now, they have converged. This is inevitable when you have civilizations which become in contact. I mean, when Plato was in Greece and philosophers here in India were doing philosophy here, they didn't communicate very much. I mean, there are a few examples, like Pyrrho, for example, but that was exceptional. And so as a result, everybody could develop different concepts with slightly different definitions. But now it's no longer possible, because everybody is in contact and in contact with everybody else. The words tend to converge. If you translate jnana by knowledge over and over again, as it has been done over the last 200 years, eventually they become the same.
Yes.
Sorry?
With all your endeavor, what is your understanding of the term jnana?
Jnana is bhakti.
Jnana basically initially meant certainty. Certainty. It meant
certainty.
Being certain. It meant
No. He is asking what you meant by jnana. Now.
What is your understanding of the word
Jnana.
The problem is, I'm able, and I think it's necessary for everyone here to be able to do that as well, is to be able to understand that the word jnana is different in different contexts. If you want to understand jnana in Madhvacharya's text written when he was alive, the meaning is not the same as today, right? But today, if you use the word jnana in a talk, if you say jnana to someone, even if you read a Sanskrit line coming from a manuscript from Madhvacharya, it will be understood as equal to the word knowledge in English. That's the problem. People will understand it, because today, this irresistible convergence has occurred. There's nothing we can do about it, right? It's there. We cannot deny it. We can say that maybe it's a bad thing, and that's what I'm saying. And so, as a result, we need to explain why. But we cannot change what's in the mind of everybody. It's there. We have to accept that this is going to be understood that way.
So the summary is that when Western people or any mainstream syllabus explains jnana as knowledge, or if it uses the word knowledge, it directly goes to the understanding of Western civilization and what they meant as knowledge. And for that, we were thinking that we have to translate our scriptures in Sanglish. It means that we have to use the original word in the original sense. Then in the glossary, we have to make a detailed description of the word which we used in which context. Directly translating that word as a knowledge will give a different understanding to the people who have their Western backgrounds or main curriculum background. For that, so this debate is very much interesting. Now I thank Dr. Raymond for his remarks on these subjects. Now I, with my folding hands, request Acharya Rajesh Kishore Goswamiji to deliver his speech. Rajesh Kishore Goswamiji is 22nd generation of Sanatana Goswamiji. Born on 22nd November 1976, he is the eldest son of Acharya Goswami Sri Jaidev Kishore Maharaj. He resides and operates primarily out of the Sri Radha Madan Gopal Temple, Advaita Vat Vrindavan. It's interesting that while studying to become a chartered accountant, he received a divine command to propagate the knowledge of the Srimad Bhagavata. He left his professional studies midway to dedicate himself to devotional service and mythology. He is widely known for his recitation of Srimad Bhagavad Katha and Rama Katha, a practice he began at the age of 20. His recitations are regularly broadcast, shared on platforms like YouTube and Facebook. it's a pleasure to have him here for 2 days, because yesterday he was the chief guest of the ceremony. Swamiji was very pleased by his presence. I, with my full hand, request him to deliver his speech.
कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय हरये परमात्मने प्रणतक्लेशनाशाय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। जयतां सुरतौ पंगोर्मम मंदमतिर्गति मत्सर्वस्वपदाम्भोजौ श्री श्री राधा मदन मोहन। कृष्णं वंदे जगद्गुरुं। जय गौर, जय मदन मोहन, जय मदन गोपाल। आज बड़ी प्रसन्नता का विषय है। I am delivering my speech in Hindi. प्रसन्नता इसलिए है कि आज नॉर्थ पोल और साउथ पोल का मिलन होने जा रहा है। एक दक्षिण भारत और उत्तर भारत में जो वैमनस्यता या वैषम्यता, वैचारिक वैषम्यता रही, उस वैचारिक वैषम्यता को दूर करने में ये सम्मेलन एक ब्रिज का कार्य कर रहा है। और इसके लिए मैं परम पूज्य स्वामी जी का बहुत बहुत आभार, अभिनंदन करता हूं। उनके श्री चरणों में मेरा अनंत कोटि प्रणाम है। आप सभी वैष्णवों के श्री चरणों में मेरा अनंत कोटि प्रणाम। यथार्थ में हम सब यहाँ पर श्री मध्व की कृष्ण भक्ति की विभिन्न विचारधाराओं पर चर्चा करने के लिए उपस्थित हुए हैं। मध्वाचार्य परंपरा और श्री गौड़ीय परंपरा किस प्रकार से इसकी समानता है, इस पर एक बृहद विश्लेषण हम सबने विभिन्न वक्ताओं के द्वारा, विभिन्न विद्वानों के द्वारा श्रवण किया। लेकिन मेरा जो विषय यहाँ रखा गया है, वैष्णविज्म, वैष्णवता। हम सब ये जान चुके हैं कि श्रीमन चैतन्य महाप्रभु राधा कृष्ण प्रणय शक्तिर लादनी शक्तिरस्म। श्री राधा कृष्ण प्रणय की उस दिव्य अनुभूति का अनुभव करने के लिए ही स्वयं श्री कृष्ण कृष्ण चैतन्य बनकर अवतीर्ण हुए। अभी पूर्व वक्ताओं के द्वारा हमने श्रवण किया कि श्रीमद् भागवत ब्रह्म सूत्र का कृत्रिम भाष्य है। इसलिए श्रीमद् भागवत की प्रामाणिकता हर संप्रदाय में, हर मत में, हर विचारधारा में सर्वमान्य है। श्रीमन महाप्रभु ने भी इसे बड़ी श्रद्धा के साथ, और मध्वाचार्य परंपरा में भी बड़ी श्रद्धा के साथ इसे ग्राह्य किया गया है। अभी हमने चैतन्य मत मंजूषा का एक श्लोक श्रवण किया। श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु की हमारी परंपरा और मेरी दृष्टिकोण में संपूर्ण वैष्णविज्म उस एक श्लोक में भी आ ही सकता है। हमारे षड गोस्वामी वृंद में जिस परंपरा से संबंध रखता हूँ, श्री रूप सनातन गोस्वामी पाद, ये भी कर्नाटक के ही थे, दक्षिण भारतीय ब्राह्मण थे। और जिस समय बंगाल में वैदिक रिचुअल्स को कराने का अभाव अनुभव होने लगा, वहाँ पर ब्राह्मणों का अभाव था, वहाँ पर इन रिचुअल्स को कराने के लिए योग्य अनुभवी सत्पात्रों की आवश्यकता थी। तब वहाँ के नरेश यहाँ से दक्षिण भारतीय ब्राह्मणों को साथ में लेकर गए और फिर बंगाल में उनको ले जाकर स्थापित किया। फिर श्रीमन चैतन्य महाप्रभु का अवतार हुआ। मैं जिस अद्वैत वट में निवास करता हूँ, दास के पास में इस समय श्री राधा मदन मोहन जी, श्री राधा मदन गोपाल जी, इन दो स्थानों की सेवा है। अद्वैताचार्य प्रभु जब ब्रज वृंदावन में पधारे हैं, मैं वैष्णव धर्म के विषय में या वैष्णविज्म के विषय में बाद में आऊँगा, लेकिन सबसे पहले मैं श्रीमन चैतन्य महाप्रभु का मध्व मत से जो समानता है उस पर काफ़ी बृहद चर्चा हो चुकी है। मुझे उस मत पर जाने की आवश्यकता नहीं है। मैं केवल संक्षिप्त अपने समय में वैष्णव धर्म को किस प्रकार से निभाया जाए और मध्व मत में और हमारे गौड़ीय संप्रदाय में वैष्णविज्म को किस प्रकार से अनुग्रहण किया गया, इस पर मैं यहाँ पर चर्चा कर रहा हूँ। तो सबसे पहले श्री अद्वैताचार्य प्रभु जब ब्रज वृंदावन में पधारे, मैं वृंदावन क्या है, वैष्णवता की जो मूल धारा है, ये श्रीधाम वृंदावन से ही उसका उद्गम हुआ। आराध्यो भगवान ब्रजेश तनयस तद्धाम वृंदावनम रम्या काचित उपासना ब्रज वधु वर्गेण या कल्पिता श्रीमद् भागवतम प्रमाण ममलम प्रेमा पुमर्थो महान श्रीमन महाप्रभुर मतमिदम तत्रादरुण पर। चैतन्य मत मंजूषा का यह ग्रंथ है। श्रीमन महाप्रभु की संपूर्ण कंसेप्शन विचारधारा इसी एक श्लोक से ही हमको प्राप्त हो रहा है। आराध्यो भगवान ब्रजेश तनय। श्रीमध्वमत में जिन भगवान श्री कृष्ण की हमारी रसोपासना चली आ रही है, यहाँ पर विष्णु स्वरूप में श्री कृष्ण की रसोपासना है, लेकिन हमारे गौड़ीय रसोपासना में आराध्यो भगवान ब्रजेश तनय। हमारे आराध्य कौन हैं? वही ब्रजेश तनय हैं जो मध्व में श्री कृष्ण के रूप में जाने जाते हैं, जो विष्णु स्वरूप श्री कृष्ण के रूप में जाने जाते हैं। तद्धाम वृंदावनम, उनका निवास, उनका स्थायी निवास। धाम कहते किसे हैं? जहाँ भगवान की नित्यता हो, जहाँ भगवान एक पल को भी वहाँ से न जाते हों, वही वृंदावन धाम माना जाता है। तो वृंदावन सर्वोपरि क्यों है? क्योंकि बिना प्रेम के वैष्णवता की परिभाषा को हम परिपक्व रूप से नहीं समझ सकते, और प्रेम सर्वोच्च उपलब्धि है। श्रीमन चैतन्य महाप्रभु ने ध्वनिमत से यह स्वीकार किया कि चारों पुरुषार्थों का वृहद विवेचन अन्य युगों से और पूर्वाचार्यों के द्वारा करा चला जा रहा है, लेकिन महाप्रभु ने उस प्रेम तत्व का उद्बोधन किया जिसे पहले किसी ने न सुना न किसी ने उस पर विचार किया था। अनर्पित चरिंग चिरात करुण यावतीर्ण कलौ समर्पयितुमुन्नतो ज्वलसाम स्वभक्ति श्रियम। प्रेम तत्व क्या है, इस बात का अनुभव कराने के लिए ही श्रीमन चैतन्य महाप्रभु का अवतार है। और मध्व मत में और गौड़ीय मत में, इन दोनों में प्रायः सभी विचारधाराओं की समानता हमको प्राप्त होती है। पूर्वाचार्यों से आप सब सुन चुके हैं कि प्रमेय रत्नावली के जो प्रमेय हैं, उनकी सामंजस्यता हमारे द्वैतवाद से बहुत मिलती जुलती है। इसलिए अचिंत्य भेदाभेदवाद और द्वैत वेदावाद, इन दोनों में कोई भिन्नता नहीं है। और श्रीमन चैतन्य महाप्रभु साक्षात श्री राधा कृष्ण के मिलित स्वरूप हैं। अगर स्वयं भगवान को कभी दीक्षा लेने की आवश्यकता पड़े तो ये अपने आप में एक आश्चर्य की बात होती है, लेकिन चूंकि भगवान को भी जीव को शिक्षा देनी है, चूंकि वो नरलीला यहाँ करने के लिए आए हैं, तो नरलीला में परफेक्शन होना चाहिए। इसलिए महाप्रभु ने भी दीक्षा ली और इसी मध्व परंपरा से ईश्वरपुरी से दीक्षित होकर उन्होंने इस माध्व गौड़ संप्रदाय की एक नवीन शाखा का शुभारंभ किया। आज तक मध्व मत की परंपरा को हम सब अधिग्रहण करते आए। महाप्रभु ने एक नई शाखा का श्री गणेश किया, शंखनाद किया। तद्धाम वृंदावनम, श्रीमन महाप्रभु ने क्या प्रतिपादन किया कि श्रीधाम वृंदावन जहाँ भगवान श्री राधा कृष्ण की नित्य लीला भूमि है। प्रेम तत्व क्या है और श्रीमन महाप्रभु को क्यों अवतार लेना पड़ा, हम सब थोड़ा सा इस विषय पे भी चिंता कर लें, क्योंकि वैष्णवता बिना प्रेम के द्वारा परिभाषित नहीं की जा सकती है। और श्रीमन महाप्रभु ने इस वैष्णविज्म को जिस रूप में प्रकट किया है, प्रायः सभी संप्रदायों में उस मत की कोई भिन्नता नहीं है, सभी में समानता है। प्रेम अभी श्रीमद् भागवत जब सर्वमान्य है, श्रीमन महाप्रभु ने कहा श्रीमन महाप्रभुर मतमिदम तत्रादरुण परः। भागवत के अलावा और किसी अन्य ग्रंथ को हम इसलिए नहीं ग्रहण करते हैं क्योंकि भागवत वेदोपनिषदाम साराज जाता, भागवती कथा वेद पुराण उपनिषदों का सारतत्व है। तो अभी हमारे मध्य में एक प्रश्न उपस्थित हुआ कि ब्रह्मसूत्र के ऊपर हमने क्यों चर्चा नहीं की। जब ब्रह्मसूत्र का ये कृत्रिम भाष्य हमको उपलब्ध है और सभी के लिए सर्वमान्य है तो फिर अलग से हमें उसकी संभाषण करने की आवश्यकता अनुभव नहीं है क्योंकि समय का अभाव है। तो वहाँ पर महाप्रभु कहते हैं कि भाई तद्धाम वृंदावनम, लेकिन इस वृंदावन में होता क्या है? रम्या काचित उपासना ब्रजवधू वर्गिण या कल्पिता। यहाँ श्री राधा कृष्ण की नित्य लीला भूमि है ये वृंदावन, जहाँ प्रेम तत्व को प्रकट किया गया। मैं इस प्रेम पर इसलिए जोर दे रहा हूँ क्योंकि वैष्णवता को सही रूप में प्रकट करने के लिए बिना प्रेम का उसे सिद्ध नहीं किया जा सकता है। तो प्रेम के उस तत्व को रहस्योद्घाटित करने के लिए भगवान ने वृंदावन को चुना। आप श्रीमद् भागवत का अगर अध्ययन करें तो जिस समय गोकुल में कंस के द्वारा भेजे हुए विभिन्न असुरों का अत्यधिक उत्पात हो गया और वो उत्पात असह्य हो गया, अब रहना दूभर होने लगा ब्रजवासियों के लिए, तब नंद बाबा को यह अनुभव हुआ कि इस स्थान का हमें त्याग करना चाहिए। लेकिन अब प्रश्न ये उपस्थित हुआ कि हम किस स्थान पर जाएं। तब नंद बाबा ने एक मीटिंग बुलाई और मीटिंग में सभी के सामने इस प्रश्न को रखा गया कि हमें इस स्थान का त्याग करके कहाँ जाना चाहिए। तभी उपनंद उठकर खड़े हुए और उन्होंने इस बात को प्रस्थापित किया, वनम वृंदावनम नाम पशव्यम नवकाननम गोप गोपी गवाम सेव्यम पुण्याद्रितृण विरुद्धम। मैं एक स्थान को जानता हूँ और उस स्थान का नाम वृंदावन है। वृंदावन पशव्यम, पशु भी शब्द से अर्थ साधु भी, वहाँ संतों को रखा गया। नवकाननम गोप गोपी गवाम सेव्यम पुण्याद्रितृण विरुद्धम, इस बात को जब स्थापित किया उपनंद ने तो इस बात का ब्रजवासियों ने समर्थन किया। साधु साध्वितिवादी न सभी ने समर्थन करके वृंदावन जाना स्वीकार किया। नंद बाबा ने उद्घोष कर दिया कि आगामी कल हम श्रीधाम वृंदावन जाने वाले हैं। अब जब वृंदावन की सीमा में प्रवेश कर रहे हैं तब भगवान सुखदेव जी ने एक श्लोक लिखा है, वृंदावनम गोवर्धनम यमुना पुलिनानि च वीक्षा सीदुत्तमा प्रीति राम माधवयो नृप। आप अब इस प्रेम को देखिए। हमें प्रेम का दिग्दर्शन करने के लिए, क्योंकि प्रेम के बिना वैष्णवता को हम परिभाषित नहीं कर सकते और उस प्रेम को कृष्ण लीला में कब किस रूप में पहचाना गया या देखा गया, ये भागवत के इस श्लोक के द्वारा रहस्योद्घाटित हो रहा है। भगवान सुखदेव जी कह रहे हैं कि नंद बाबा के उद्घोष पर सब ब्रजवासी अपना माल बैलगाड़ियों पर लाद कर वृंदावन की तरफ चल पड़े और वृंदावन की सीमा में जैसे ही प्रवेश किया है, सुखदेव जी कहते हैं कि वृंदावनम गोवर्धनम यमुना पुलिनानि च वीक्षा श्रीदुत्तमा प्रीति राम माधवयो नृप। वृंदावन गोवर्धन यमुना पुलिन को देखकर श्री कृष्ण बलराम और समस्त ब्रजवासियों को उत्तमा प्रीति की जागृति हुई। उत्तमा प्रीति, यहां प्रेम शब्द को प्रकट किया गया। क्यों कि उत्तमा प्रीति कहते किसे हैं? जहां आनुकूल्येन संगः प्रातिकूल्यस्य वर्जनम रक्षिष्यति विश्वास। ये जो शरणागति के 6 लक्षण हैं, आप इन शरणागति के 6 लक्षणों में आत्मनिक्षेप, ये जो लक्षण है, ये आत्मनिक्षेप कब प्रकट होगा? जब विशुद्ध प्रेम हृदय में कृष्ण के चरणों में होगा, कृष्ण के प्रति होगा, कृष्ण के प्रति वो भाव रहेगा। तो कृष्ण बलराम को भी उत्तमा प्रीति की जागृति उस ब्रज वृंदावन में आकर हुई। इसका तात्पर्य हुआ कि वृंदावन साक्षात प्रेम की भूमि है और उस प्रेम को अनुभव श्री राधा गोविंद ने भी ब्रज वृंदावन में आकर किया। और प्रेम के बिना वैष्णवता को हम नहीं समझ सकते हैं। इसीलिए प्रेम के द्वारा ही हम शरणागति के उस उच्च स्तर तक पहुंच सकते हैं जिससे हम अपनी वैष्णवता को परिपक्व कर सकते हैं। वैष्णवता माने श्री कृष्ण के प्रति अनन्यता, श्री कृष्ण के प्रति अपनी अनन्य शरणागति का भाव। और ये अनन्य शरणागति का भाव विशुद्ध रूप से अनन्य ठाकुर के चरणों में प्रेम और अनुराग के द्वारा ही होगा। आप विभिन्न वैष्णव मतों को देख लीजिए। श्री वल्लभाचार्य जी के मत में पोषणम तद अनुग्रहम, श्रीमद् भागवत के 10वें स्कंद के लक्षण को श्री वल्लभाचार्य जी ने बतलाया कि कृष्ण की कृपा ही पोषण है। तद अनुग्रहम, जो भागवत के 10 लक्षण बतलाए, सर्ग विसर्ग स्थान पोषण ऊति मनवंतर ईशानु कथा निरोध मुक्ति और आश्रय, इसमें अगर भागवत के अनुसार मुक्ति देखें, मैं वैष्णवता पर ही आ रहा हूं, तो वैष्णवों की मुक्ति क्या होगी? भगवान सुखदेव जी ने कहीं अन्यत्र हमको नहीं भेजा। सुखदेव जी ने वहाँ पर स्पष्ट रूप से हम वैष्णवों की मुक्ति को वहाँ पर स्पष्ट रूप से प्रकट किया। मुक्तिर्हित्वा यथारूपम स्वरूपेण व्यवस्थिति, अपने आत्मस्वरूप में स्थित हो जाना ही वैष्णवों की सर्वोच्च मुक्ति है। और हमारा आत्मस्वरूप क्या है? ये वैष्णवता की परिभाषा है, जिसे महाप्रभु ने प्रतिपादन किया और जिसे हर संप्रदाय, हर मत ने उसी रूप में स्वीकार किया। मध्व मत भी उसी मत को स्वीकार करता है। जीवेर स्वरूप है नित्य कृष्णदास, यही हमारा आत्मस्वरूप है, जो अनादिकाल से हम जगत के जागतिक प्रपंच में फंसकर जब हम अपने आप को, अपने आत्मस्वरूप को भूले हुए थे, तब कृष्ण की कृपा से हमको अपने आत्मस्वरूप का बोध हुआ और श्री गुरुदेव की कृपा से हमारे आत्मस्वरूप का बोध हमको हुआ। ये मत मध्वाचार्य के मत में भी है। अपने आत्मस्वरूप में स्थित हो जाना, यही शरणागति है, यही मुक्ति है। और इसी मुक्ति के द्वारा हम अनन्य भाव से सर्वतोभावेन श्री कृष्ण के चरणों की कृपा को प्राप्त कर सकते हैं। भक्ति वही है। भक्ति माने समर्पण, भक्ति माने शरणागति, भक्ति माने येन केन प्रकारेण सर्वतोभावेन श्री कृष्ण के चरणों के प्रति अनुराग को प्राप्त करना और पुष्ट करना, यही भक्ति है, यही शरणागति है और यही वैष्णवता है। मैं इन्हीं शब्दों के द्वारा अपनी वाणी को विराम देता हूँ। पुनः मैं श्री विश्वप्रसन्न तीर्थ स्वामी जी महाराज के चरणों में अनंत प्रणति निवेदन करते हुए, श्री पांडुरंगी जी का बहुत बहुत आभार प्रकट करते हुए, और आप सभी वैष्णवों को आप मेरी तरफ से अनंत अनंत प्रणाम। श्री पांडुरंगी जी और पूज्य स्वामी जी ने इस दास को वृंदावन से बुलाकर इस सम्मेलन में सहभागिता करने का अवसर प्रदान किया। मैं इसके लिए बहुत बहुत आभारी हूँ। पुनः श्री विश्वप्रसन्न स्वामी जी के चरणों में अनंत प्रणाम, सभी वैष्णवों के चरणों में प्रणाम और प्रणत निवेदन करते हुए जय श्री कृष्ण, जय श्री राधे।
Our heartful thanks to and my pranamas to Acharya Rajesh Kishore Goswami ji. Now I request Joydeep Day to present his thoughts. His topic is Vaishnavism in Navadvip, and currently he is the authority to talk, authorized person to talk on this topic, because nowadays we observe that what has happening in Bengal region, not only in West Bengal, in East Bengal also, in Bangladesh also, what is happening to Hindus and what is happening to Vaishnavas. But in West Bengal, especially in the region of Navadvipa, there are many temples and many organizations which are working to reconstruct this concept of Vaishnavism in their own capacity. And one of the bunch of the temples are Vishva Vaishnava Seva Samsthanam, Yes, and he is the one of the trustee of that samsthan. And because of that, he is authorized to talk on this topic, and he will also explain some of philosophical aspects on Gaudiya tradition and Madhva tradition. I request him. He is currently pursuing PhD from Calcutta University, and I request him to present his talk.
Today he is going to defend his thesis also.
हरि ओम। नमामि हरिदासं तं चैतन्यं तं च तत्प्रभुं संस्थितामपि यन्मूर्तिं स्वङ्कीकृत्पाननर्तयः। जय गौरनित्यानन्द जयाद्वैतचन्द्र गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द। जय रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्रीजीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ। ईछय गोसाईर करी चरण वंदन जहाँ हईते विघ्ननाश अभीष्ट पुरन। सबसे पहले जो चेयर में हैं उनको मेरा प्रणाम। मैं इंग्लिश में बोलने जा रहा हूँ। पहले संग्लिश हमने तय किया था, अभी इंग्लिश में ही जा रहे हैं। वैष्णविज्म के जो परिभाषा है वो तो मेरे लिए आचार्य समान हैं, तो वो पहले ही बोल चुके हैं, मुझे उसमें जाना भी नहीं है। लेकिन बंगाल में अभी नवद्वीप में जैसे वैष्णविज्म को देखा जाता है, जैसे प्रैक्टिस किया जाता है, उसमें ये शास्त्रों में जो तत्ववाद है, तत्वों के बारे में बोला गया है, उतना चर्चा नहीं है। मतलब वेदों के वाणी से या उपनिषदों के वाणी से जो भक्ति है, इसका स्थापना वहाँ पे नहीं होता है। क्या होता है बंगाल में, इन ईस्टर्न बंगाल एंड इन वेस्ट बंगाल एज वेल, चैतन्य चरितामृत को एक अथॉरिटी के तरह मान लिया गया है। कृष्ण स्वामी जी ने जो चैतन्य चरितामृत किए, उसमें जैसे जैसे भक्ति, माया, जीव, ईश्वर, ये सब तत्वों को समझाया गया है। बंगाल में जो वैष्णविज्म अभी फॉलो होता है, उसी का छाया उसमें दिखते हैं, क्योंकि सिद्धांत सब उसी से है। तो वैष्णव होने के लिए जो सबसे पहली शर्त वहाँ है, वो ये है कि अहमत्व और ममत्व, ये दो जो चीज़ है, ये नहीं होना चाहिए। वैष्णव के भाव क्या होगा? कृष्ण सुखैक तात्पर्यमयी सेवा में जो निरत है, कृष्ण सुखैक तात्पर्य, उसमें सेवक की अपनी जो सुख है उसका कोई जगह नहीं है। अगर कोई भक्त ऐसा कोशिश करता है कि भगवान के सेवा में ही मुझे निरत रहना है इसलिए कि मुझे अच्छा लगता है, तो वो प्रेम नहीं कहलाएगा। जो पंचम पुरुषार्थ प्रेम है, उससे काम की यही अलग पहचान है। तो अगर कहीं भगवान की सेवा भी कर रहे हैं, लेकिन वो खुद की सुख के लिए कर रहे हैं, तो वो प्रेम नहीं है। चैतन्य चरितामृत स्पष्टतः ये उल्लेख की गई है। प्रेम और काम की परिभाषा एक संग दिए गए हैं, ताकि लोगों को समझ में आ जाए कि इन दोनों में अंतर क्या है। वहाँ बोला जा रहा है, आत्मेंद्रिय प्रति इच्छा तारे बलि काम, कृष्णेंद्रिय प्रति इच्छा तारे बलि प्रेम। जो पंचम पुरुषार्थ है, इसका अवधारणा इसीलिए किया गया है कि धर्म, अर्थ, काम, मोक्षादि में भी आत्मेंद्रिय प्रतीच्छा रह जाता है। मोक्ष के या मुक्ति के जो पांचों प्रकार हैं, उसमें साजुज्य से पहले जो भी मुक्तियां हैं, उसमें भी खुद का सेवन सुख, सेवा सुख, वासना रह जाता है। वो कृष्ण ही का सुख तात्पर्य नहीं होता है, उसमें अपना भी सेवक का सुख भी उसमें निहित होता है। हाँ, बहुत प्रोमिनेंट नहीं होता है, लेकिन उसमें भी होता है। इसलिए उसका परम पुरुषार्थता स्वीकृत नहीं है। मुक्ति के जो पहले चार स्तर हैं साजुज्य को छोड़ के सामीप्य, सार्ष्टी, सारूप्य इत्यादि, सालोक्य, इसमें खुद का चाहत होता है, काम होता है, स्व वासना उसमें होता है, इसलिए इसका परम पुरुषार्थता स्वीकार नहीं किया गया है। लेकिन साजुज्य जो मुक्ति है उसके लिए एक वचन वहाँ पे उद्धृत किया गया है, बोलते दीयमानम न गृह्णान्ति विना मत सेवनम जनाः। अगर मुक्ति भगवान दे भी दिए, ईश्वर मुक्ति दे भी दिए, जो भक्त है वो भगवान के सेवा को छोड़ के कुछ भी लेने के लिए तैयार नहीं है। तो आवर गोल इज टू बी अ इटर्नल सर्वेंट ऑफ दैट इटर्नल डो। वो जो नित्य निकुंज में भगवान है उनका सेवा ही हमारा एकमात्र मोक्ष है, उनके सेवा में ही रहना है। तो पहला दिन जब हम यहाँ आए थे पांडुरंगी सर के घर में, किसी ने मुझे पूछा कि ये सेवा कहाँ होगी, कैसे मिलेगा। इसका उत्तर पहले ही दो वक्ताओं ने बहुत निश्चितता से दिए हैं। और बंगाल में मैं बार बार बोल रहा हूँ, चैतन्य मत मंजूषा जो मत बोले हैं वही एकदम हूबहू नरोत्तम दास ठाकुर महाशय के पद में भी हम देखते हैं। नरोत्तम दास ठाकुर महाशय के जो पद है उस पद को हम स्वाभिष्ट लालसा के तरह रोज पढ़ते हैं सुबह, क्योंकि वही हमारा कामना है। उसमें हमारा जो आराध्य है, हमारा जो धाम है, सब कुछ एकदम स्पष्टतः उल्लिखित है। राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोर जुगल किशोर, जीवने मरणे मोर गति नाही और। कालिंदिर कुले केली तमाले रवन, रतन वेदीर परे बसावो दुजन। श्याम बरी अंगे दिवो चुआ चंद निरगंध, चामर डुलाव सुखे हिरव मुख चंद। ये जो स्वाभिष्ट लालसा है यही एक कृष्ण भक्त का, एक गौर भक्त का स्वरूप है। वो सिर्फ इसी को मोक्ष मानता है, इससे ज़्यादा कुछ भी अवेलेबल हो वो भगवान खुद भी आके दे दे तो भी लेने के लिए वो तैयार नहीं है। अभी ये जो सेवा है ये मिलने का अवस्था क्या है। सेवा को दो तरीके से बांटा गया है। एक है संभोग इच्छामयी सेवा, एक है तद्भाव इच्छामयी सेवा। संभोग इच्छामयी वो नाम में ही अनवर्थ संज्ञा है, उसमें समझ में आ रहा है। उसमें भक्त का अपना सुख चिंतन होता है कि हाँ सेवा करके मुझे ये सुख मिलेगा। अपनों के लिए कुछ बनाते हैं वो पाते हैं तो हमको आनंद होता है, ऐसा ही संभोग इच्छामयी है। तद्भाव इच्छामयी सेवा में अपना जो है वो नहीं रहता, वो सिर्फ दूसरों के लिए अर्थात भगवान के लिए ही सोच है। उस सेवा वासना में अपना कुछ नहीं है, तो ये तद्भाव इच्छामयी है। अब ये जो सेवा है ये सेवा करने के लिए दो और रास्ता है। एक है स्वातंत्रमयी, एक है आनुगत्यमयी। बंगाल में जो वैष्णविज्म है इसका बेस आनुगत्यमयी सेवा है। स्वातंत्रमयी सेवा में भक्त का कभी भी अधिकार नहीं है। पहले दिन भी इसको लेकर चर्चा हुआ था हम लोगों का। अगर भगवान नित्य निकुंज में हैं और हम चाहते हैं कि हम कुछ वस्तु भगवान को अर्पित करना चाहते हैं, कुछ भोग भगवान के सामने पधराना चाहते हैं, उसके बाद प्रसाद लेना चाहते हैं, तो हमारे परंपरा में यही विधि है कि हम उसको डायरेक्टली भगवान को नहीं चढ़ा सकते। उसमें प्रसाद होगा, क्यों? भगवान खुद बोलते हैं नैवेद्यम पुरतन न्यस्तम चक्षुषा गृह्यते मया। भगवत प्रसाद बन जाते हैं। लेकिन जो भक्त हैं उनको अधरामृत चाहिए। अधरामृत मतलब जो भगवान ने खुद लिया और उसके बाद भक्त के लिए छोड़ के रखे गए हैं कृपा समान, वही प्रसाद उनको चाहिए। सिर्फ दृष्टि से जो प्रसाद किया गया है वो उनको नहीं चाहिए। तो इसका क्या व्यवस्था है? एक भक्त कभी भी उसको डायरेक्टली भगवान को नहीं चढ़ाएगा। वो क्या करेगा? वो गुरुदेव को जाके बोलेगा। तो गुरु चरणाश्रय में गुरुदेव के अनुगत्य में वो गुरु जी को बोलेंगे। गुरु जी मंजरी को, मंजरी सखी को, सखी राधा रानी को, और राधा रानी जाके स्वयं श्री कृष्ण को वो खुद पवा सकते हैं। यही हमारा जो सेवा है इसको आनुगत्यमयी सेवा बोलते हैं। इसी रास्ते से हम लोग वो जो डिवाइन है उस डिवाइन से जुड़े हुए हैं। इसी भाव से बंगाल में सेवा होता है। हम रात को जब सेवा करके निकलते हैं, जहाँ सेवा करते हैं उसको योगपीठ कहते हैं। और नवद्वीप में जो लोग सेवा सीखते हैं उनके लिए 2 योगपीठ होते हैं, एक साथ दोनों योगपीठ का सेवा चलता है युगपत साइमल्टेनियसली। सुबह उठ के हम लोग गुरुजी को पहले जगाते हैं, प्रबोधन करते हैं, गुरुजी के साथ नवद्वीप योगपीठ में घुसते हैं। हमारे लिए श्रीवासंगन योगपीठ है, तो उसमें हम गुरुजी के साथ जाते हैं। उसमें अद्वैत नित्यानंद आदि जो भी हमारे नवद्वीप मंडल में हैं वो विराजते हैं। उनको प्रबोधन देने के बाद अद्वैत नित्यानंद आदि सबको संग लेके हम लोग वृंदावन की जो योगपीठ है उसमें प्रविष्ट होते हैं, जो राधा कुंड है। इसका मतलब ये है कि एक साथ दोनों योगपीठ में अगर किसी को सेवा करना है तो उसको आनुगत्यमयी सेवा में ही जाना है, नहीं तो वो कभी ये नहीं कर सकता। तो जब सेवा होता है और हम अंदर जाते हैं तब तो गुरुजी को पहले प्रबोध देते हैं और लास्ट में भगवान को प्रबोध देते हैं। और जब निकलते हैं सेवा के घर से तब पहले भगवान को विश्राम में देते हैं और सबके लास्ट में गुरुजी को विश्राम देके फिर सेवका के बाहर विश्राम करते हैं। यही आनुगत्यमयी सेवा है। और श्रीनिधि सर से बात हो रहा था, वो हमको पूछे कि रात को सेवा से निकलते समय हम लोग थोड़ा पानी भगवान के लिए पधरा देते हैं ताकि अगर चाहिए होगा तो भगवान भी वो ले सकते हैं। तो इसमें भगवान का जो स्वरूप है, तत्पतः जो स्वरूप है उसका निराकरण हो जाता है। हाँ, बात तो सही है, लेकिन जिस विषय में हम लोग करते हैं वही प्रेमा है, पंचम पुरुषार्थ है, क्योंकि वहाँ जाके भगवान का जो ऐश्वर्य ज्ञान है वो एकदम विलय हो जाता है। लोकवत्तु लीला कैवल्यम इसी भाव से और आत्मवत सेवनम इसी भाव से हम लोग भगवान की सेवा करते हैं। बंगाल की वैष्णविज्म में, मैं बार बार बंगाल की इसलिए बोल रहा हूँ, वैष्णविज्म तो सब सेम ही है क्योंकि सबका लक्ष्य एक है, साध्य एक ही है। हाँ, साध्य का रूप विशेष है, उनमें स्वजातीय विजातीय भेदादि है कि नहीं है, इसको लेके कल भी बात हो रहा था। वेदांत स्यमंतक में इनका निराकरण किया गया है भेदादि। हाँ, लेकिन जब गौरी वैष्णव भगवान की किसी एक स्वरूप को पूजेंगे वो द्वारका के कृष्ण को नहीं पूजेंगे, वो जगन्नाथ जी को पूजेंगे तो, लेकिन उनके लिए सबसे प्रिय जो है वो है ब्रजेंद्र नंदन कृष्ण ब्रजविलासिनी राई। हमारे आराध्य यही हैं। क्यों? भगवान खुद बोलते हैं वृंदावनम परित्यज्य पादमेकम न ब्रजामि। तो भगवान के नित्य धाम वृंदावन ही है। तो हमारे लिए इस वास में भी वृंदावन में ही रहना है। और इसके बाद जब ये शरीर नहीं रहेगा, गुरु प्रदत्त जो भी मंजरी स्वरूप है उस स्वरूप में भी उसी नित्य वृंदावन में, नित्य निकुंज में भगवान की सेवा में ही हम लोगों को रहना है। कल और एक प्रश्न आपसे हुआ था कि जो लोग शास्त्र की बातें नहीं मानते हैं, हम इनको कनिष्ठाधिकारी बोल सकते हैं, वो नहीं मानते हैं, नहीं मान पाते हैं। नहीं मानते हैं तो नहीं होगा, नहीं मान पाते होंगे, उनके प्रारब्ध ही ऐसा नहीं है। उनके लिए क्या होगा, क्या व्यवस्था है? चैतन्य महाप्रभु सबके लिए व्यवस्था रखे गए हैं। वो बोल रहे हैं महान तेरा स्वभाव यही तारिते पामर निजो कर्म नाई तो वो जान पर घर। जो महंत हैं, अर्थात जो इनको आप मुक्त जीव बोलते हैं, बोल सकते हैं, नित्य मुक्त जीव बोल सकते हैं, जो परिकर हैं भगवान के, जो भगवान के लीला में सहायता करने के लिए भगवान के साथ ही पधारे हुए हैं, ये क्या करते हैं? सब जीवों के पास जाते हैं। जैसे प्रभुपाद जी हुए हैं, जैसे हमारे आचार्य हुए, हम उनके पास जाने के लिए तो उतना एनलाइटेंड नहीं थे। हमको तो गुरुकरण करने से पहले ये भी पता नहीं था कि ये हमको कहाँ ही ले जाएंगे। लेकिन हाँ, महान तेरा स्वभाव ही तारिते पामर। जो पामर हैं, जो पापिष्ट हैं, जो नराधम हैं, जिसको शास्त्र में गुरुवाक्य में विश्वास नहीं है, उसको भी उद्धार करने के लिए भगवान खुद अपना जो परिकर हैं, अपना जो भक्त हैं, उनको प्रेरित करते हैं, जाइए वहाँ निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे, सबको उद्धार करने के लिए वो भेजते हैं अपना एक परिकर को, जिनके कृपा दृष्टि से, कृपा कटाक्ष से भी जीव का कल्याण हो सकता है। उसको शास्त्र पढ़ने की उतना आवश्यकता नहीं है। मैं यहाँ पहले जब आया था तो मेरा जो विषय था ये था डिफरेंट स्फीयर्स ऑफ भक्ति एज रिफ्लेक्टेड इन राय रामानंद संवाद विद महाप्रभु। वहाँ पे बहुत सारे स्फीयर्स हैं। पहले बोलते हैं स्वधर्माचरण कृष्ण भक्ति सार, फिर बोलते हैं कि कृष्ण कर्मार्पण साध्य सार। स्वधर्म तो सार हैं, स्वधर्म तो करना है, वो तो साध्य सार है। लेकिन फिर बोल रहे हैं नहीं, स्वधर्म नहीं, कृष्ण कर्मार्पण साध्य सार है। उसके बाद बोल रहे हैं कि नहीं नहीं, स्वधर्म त्याग कृष्ण भक्ति सार है। मतलब अलग अलग स्तर के भक्तों के लिए अलग अलग व्यवस्था दी गई है। चैतन्य चरितामृत में जैसे जैसे व्यवस्था दिया गया है बंगाल के वैष्णविज्म में, उसी का अनुपालन होता है। यहाँ पे बहुत सारे पॉइंट्स मैं कल से सुनते आ रहा हूँ और मैं लिख के रखा था, लेकिन सब कुछ तो यहाँ बोलना संभव नहीं होगा। एक समानता जो मुझे आज सुबह भी पता चला, सर हमें फ़ोन करके बोल रहे हैं कि आप गुरुजी के वृंदावन के सामने आ जाइए। मतलब देह रक्षा के बाद, महाप्रयाण के बाद यहाँ जो गुरुजी के समाधि बनते हैं, वहाँ भी एक वृंदा जी के तुलसी जी को पधराए जाते हैं, उसको भी वृंदावन ही बोलते हैं। मतलब गुरुजी भी यहाँ अपने जो स्वरूप हैं, जो जीवेर स्वरूप है कृष्ण नित्यदास, उसी स्वरूप में वृंदावन में ही विराजते हैं। तो ये बहुत बड़ी समानता है। क्यों? दूसरे समानता जो है वो तो भक्ति को कॉन्क्रेटाइज करने के लिए चाहिए, लेकिन ये जो समानता है ये मोक्ष में एकदम लास्ट में जाके हमको चाहिए। हमारा जो लक्ष्य है, हमारा जो साध्य है, नित्य वृंदावन वास, नित्य भगवत चरण सेवा, ये वहाँ जाके पूर्ति हो जाता है। मैं यहाँ आने से पहले चेन्नई में था, एक अद्वैत रिट्रीट में गया था। It seems very difficult for everyone to digest this, but I was there to learn about the interpretations of Advaitins regarding Vajagovindam, what they want to tell. So I was there. They took us to Kanchi Matha and there was some samadhi. They told me this is Vrindavanam. Now after denying everything, they are also trying to find a Vrindavan for their rest. So we all are longing for that eternal Vrindavana, for that eternal seva, which is at par with our own consciousness, own identity. That is जीवेर स्वरूप है नित्य कृष्णदास। और एक चीज मैं बताना चाहता हूँ लास्ट में, मध्वाचार्य पाद के प्रवर्तित जो तत्ववाद है और श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु के जो मत हैं, हम दोनों बहुत देर तक आलोचना में थे। उसमें मुझे ये लगा कि तत्ववाद के कुछ सिद्धांत तो है जो पूर्णतः जो गौरवादी हैं, गौर पारम्यवादी हैं। हम तो गौर पारम्यवादी हैं, उनको परम तत्व मानते हैं। चैतन्य चरितामृत भी जय गौर देह कृष्ण स्वयं भगवान कृपा करि देह मोरे निज पददान इत्यादि बोलते। तो उसमें सिर्फ टर्मिनोलॉजी का फर्क होगा, बहुत सारे समानताएं भी उसमें है। क्योंकि गौरी वैष्णव दर्शन में, जिसको हम अचिंत्य वेदाभेद बोलते हैं, और कल इसको लेके भी थोड़ा इनकंसीवेबल लेके हम थोड़ा बोल रहे थे। इनकंसीवेबल तो नहीं हो सकता, दैट इज कंसीवेबल, बट दैट इज अबव आवर कैपेसिटी। So that is achintya, inexplicable. I need to be certain about the things while I am trying to propagate that.
That word inconceivable is proper.
Right, but Radha Govindanath has actually refuted inconceivable and placed this. Because for Nityamukta Jivas, like our Acharyas, that is not inconceivable. That is conceivable only. And they took another vachana from Nachiketa and Yamasangmada. There it says, Nayamatma pravachaneno labhyo nami dhayana srute. So सो न प्रवचने न लभ्यो, मतलब इसको बता के समझाया नहीं जा सकता. इट इज इनएक्सप्लिकेबल बट इट इज देयर. इट कैन बी अंडरस्टूड विद द ग्रेस ऑफ लॉर्ड एंड गुरु ओनली. इट कैन बी अंडरस्टूड. So how this Achintatva and Veda comes into effect, I will just go through it in 1 minute. Actually, this formation which has been discussed by our Acharyas is based on the Shaktis. Now, Jiva Shakti is the Tatastha Shakti. It is having both the qualities of Antaranga and Bahiranga. Now, as the Antaranga Shakti is also there in Jiva, that is the Aveda. And the Bahiranga Shakti, that is the Veda. So, Jiva.
Do you meant by, as I explained you, do you meant it as a bimba, as we call in the Madhvacharya?
That Vimba is Chaitanya. I told it already. Is because of that Bimba only. Yeah. That Chaitanya part within that Jiva is that indifferent to that Brahma. Anu Chaitanya it is. Parimanatah Veda asti. But by quality it is that Brahma only.
What is Achinta part?
The Achinta part is when we get both the phrases from Vedas which validates these and that both, then this is Achintya for one to actually validate only one by negating other. Kind of. When Tatastha is there, then Bahiranga and Antaranga both are there, no? Simultaneously.
Are you not limiting the inconceivable or the supreme potency of Shakti of the Supreme, the Bhagavan?
No. Look, Bhagavan has two Shaktis. One is Antaranga and one is Bahiranga. That Bahiranga is Maya Shakti only. Now Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Krishna Surja Sama Maya Hai Andhakar Jaha Krishna Tahanai Maya Rudhikar. Now, when you are denying the entry of Maya in someone's life where there is Krishna already, are you not actually denying the potency of Maya, which is also the Shakti of that Brahman only?
Yeah, that is right. It is Swagata Veda.
Oh, Veda.
I think you described the Tatastha, it will be very clear. Tatastha means it is spiritual, eternal, still conditioned.
Yeah. That Swatantramaya Seva is not there. Right. That Swatantramaya Seva is not there because that is always Anugatyamaya. It is not Swatantra. That is Anuspatantra. Jiva is Anuspatantra. Now this Anuspatantra thing, it needs a lot of discussions. We are not going into that. No. Why there is issue with simultaneous things? Because no. Look at the Tata. It is not the sea. It is not the shore. This is just a midpoint.
That is with reference to the Jiva we are talking about with respect to the Bhagavan. So for him, what is Bahiranga, what is Antaranga? He can change anything. That's why that's the supreme potency he has. He can say, if he wants, he can bring Antaranga to Bahiranga, Bahiranga to Antaranga.
Look.
You are mentioning that is the Achintya?
Yeah, that is what I'm saying.
No, this is not. That is Maya. That is Maya Shakti. Agatana Ghatana Patiyasi Maya eva.
That is just one aspect I'm saying. I mean, there are of course.
Okay, if you are mentioning Achinta as that, there is no
I'm
problem.
saying simultaneous. Yeah, that is separate thing. I'm just saying to distinguish Bahiranga Shakti as the only Veda part. That is the objection, right? That is what.
No, that should be there, no?
I'm saying if Veda you can.
It is also by the grace of Lord only. Lord wants it like that, so this is like that. If he wants to do something else, then that is also possible.
Just like the Swarupa of Krishna and the Shakti, I mean, it's Swabhavika Veda. I mean, there's no.
Veda is not there. No Veda is there.
There is no Swagata Veda in Shakti and Shaktiman. There is Swagata Veda in
Shakti Mato. Yeah.
Swagata Veda. In Shakti there is no Swagata Veda because there is not possible.
And it is well established that there is no Veda. Okay, thank you so very much for giving the yeah.
You told one thing about we don't, our Aradhya is not Dwarka Krishna or Jagannath, right?
No, Aradhya Swarupa.
Aradhya Swarupa. Yeah, so but Mahaprabhu, he spent his sannyasa 18 years in Jagannath Puri. Can you explain why? Like?
Yeah, sure. Actually, Mahaprabhu is, I'll have to go a bit into it. Mahaprabhu is Raikanu Ekakriti. Radha Govinda Milita Tanu, we say. Radha and Govinda comes together and becomes, after the merger, it becomes Mahaprabhu. So, first part of his life, he spent in Nadia as Nadia Nagar, as Krishna. His behavior was like Krishna only, and there are some leelas, Lokavattu Leela Kaivalyam, so we will have to go into the leelas to understand these things. Mahaprabhu went to Ganga to have bath with his other fellows, and some Striya, Anudha Kanya, they were coming to Ganga to offer pujas for good husbands. So Mahaprabhu was there, and as his Krishna himself, he says, what is the need of worshipping Ganga? Who is also worshipping me? Come worship me directly. So when he is in Nadia, he is behaving like the Lord Krishna. Now when he comes to the other part, when he comes to Puri, Jagannath Puri, he stays in Gambhira and behaves like Radharani. This is something it is Gurha, but we can tell it a bit. Now in Gambhira, only 3 persons were allowed to go and meet him. One is Gadadhara Pandita, one is Ramananda Raya, another is Swarupa Damodara. Only 3 were allowed. Why so? Now this Gaura Ganadesha Dipika of Kavikarnapura shows us the main reason. This Gadadhara Pandita is actually the Radha Shakti. Radhayaha Seva Shakti. When the merger was happening, then Lalita Sakhi asked, if you were going to merge, then how are you going to perform Seva? Then that Seva part of Lahadini Shakti becomes another one, that becomes Gadadhara in Kali. So in Kali, Gadadhara is there as Radharani, but Mahaprabhu is Radha Govinda Militatanu. Now in the second part, he is there to serve Lord Krishna as he is in Puri. So पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जो है उसमें महाप्रभु जाते हैं, महाप्रभु वहाँ रहते हैं, लेकिन वो मार्जर जो हैं, जो हम मानते हैं, मार्जर जो हैं वो जगन्नाथ जी में नहीं, टोटा गोपीनाथ में होता है. टोटा गोपीनाथ, you know? There only. So the marger becomes with. वो तो लीला है, लेकिन जो मर्जर हैं, आप जाएंगे तो वहाँ के जो गोस्वामीन से उनको बोलेंगे, सुबह 5 बजे जाने से वो दर्शन करवाते हैं जहाँ पे महाप्रभु जी का विलय हुआ है. तो ये जो भाव है, ये भाव में महाप्रभु जी दूसरा जो उनका काल है, उस कालखंड में अपने आप को राधा रानी के तरह ही रखते हैं, और वो भगवान की जो भजन है, भगवान की जो सिद्धांत हैं, उसको सेविका के तरह ही करते हैं. तो हम लोगों का क्या होता है, हम लोग उल्टा जो रथ है नहीं देखते हैं. When the chariot comes back, we are not there to see that. Why? Because we actually take it like this. Gundicha Mandir is Vrindavanam. From the Aishwarya part, Mahaprabhu Jagannath comes to Vrindavanam, that is Madhurya path. So when he is in Madhurya, then only the Gauriyas go and meet him. So Mahaprabhu Jagannath has all the capacity to be in Madhurya or in Aishwarya, whatever he wants, according to the test and according to the readiness of the bhakta, of the devotee. Ye yathamang prapadyante tang tathaiva bhajamyaham. So Jagannath has that capacity, but do we have? So for concretament of our bhakti, we have been given a certain form by our acharyas that you are going to worship this form. No, he was also talking about certainty of Satya. Now there is something called authority of lineage. Why are we believing something as Satya, Jnana? Because of the authority of lineage. When we say A as A, why are we calling it A as A? Why? Are we asking this? When we ask, then only we know the importance of authority of lineage. The knowledge, I should not say knowledge. From this day, I will avoid using this.
The lineage is based on Shraddha. A lineage is a transmission of Shraddha.
And then, no, okay, I will just call it 1 minute. जो श्रद्धा है, that श्रद्धा is something which you can have without the lineage as well. lineage को छोड़ के भी आपको श्रद्धा हो सकता है किसी भी चीज से. आप अगर परंपरा से
सत्यत्व माना जाएगा, राइट? वो सत्यत्व भी होना चाहिए, राइट? उसमें विषय में वो तो डिबेटेबल है ना, डिबेटेबल है. विषय में ट्रूथ होना चाहिए, राइट?
Truth is there, and truth. How do I know? How do I? Shraddha is there. I'm not denying that Shraddha is not there, but the Shraddha is based on something which has been there for a long time and uninterrupted, uncontaminated. It is not contaminated by someone else. Someone didn't come and contaminate it. Okay.
That's why everyone tried to establish lineage from the Brahma.
Lord only, yeah.
Okay, so that is the point.
That it is Satya because the lineage is coming uninterrupted from that Lord to us. Uninterrupted, uncontaminated. If someone comes and this is why in Gauriya Vaishnavas lineage is very important. We are not even allowed to sit with the people who doesn't have a proper lineage.
If you ask another question,
No, please.
Oi.
Yeah, everyone has lineage. That's why they are also trying to be Samayi. Everyone want to try to be Samayi. That's is important. That is there. Everyone have their own Shraddha. Okay. Saivasa. No problem. Even I have Shraddha because I am born in the Madhva philosophy. That's why I have Shraddha in the Madhvacharya. That's it. Now, I request chairperson to deliver his conclusion remarks. And Dr. Srinivas Murthy Acharya is a distinguished professor and he has served as a lecturer in Mysore for more than 30 years. And recently, he has published many books. Recently, he has published a very scholarly text on Vishvesha. We were discussing on this. Yes, he has published a scholarly text on Vishvesha, which has been published by the Indian Council for Philosophical Research, New Delhi. English. Yeah. It will be released.
Copies are available at ICPR.
Yeah, it is available in our ICPR. Yeah. It is available in Amazon also. Yeah. So it was his thesis 30 years back, and he reconstructed that thesis that it could be publishable. And after a lot of effort, ICPR published that book. You can read that. Because till now we couldn't understand what is Achintya. So someone need to explain what is Achintya part there. So after 1.5 day, I couldn't understand what is Achintya part. So I was having discussion with him also. Look,
Why this is Achintya?
that is not possible.
No, we'll go into this.
Yeah.
We'll not conclude this.
Yeah,
We'll go
sure.
into this.
Now I request Acharya to deliver his conclusion remarks.
श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः. तपस्वाध्याय शुश्रूषा कृष्ण पूजारतं मुनिं विश्वेश विशदं वंदे परिव्राट चक्रवर्तिनम्. One scholar presented his scholarly views online in this session, and 4 other scholars have presented their views. All of them presented very scholarly, learned views. To an outsider who is not acquainted with these thoughts and views, needs some teaching and interaction to understand all these things. The term Achintya Bheda Bheda has been a term of curiosity to me for a very long time. While studying for my essay on the doctrine of Vishvesha, I tried to understand this word and asked some scholars. I did not get very satisfactory answer. When we use the word Bheda, Bheda between two entities, say horse and elephant, Bheda between horse and elephant. When we use the word Abheda, we can't use the word between. There can't be Abheda between two things. So we can't use the word between. Then how do we use the word Abheda? Abheda is oneness. The other term is Aikya. Aikya is ekasya bhavaha aikyam. Oneness. So when we try to understand this Abheda, Aikya, there can't be usage of the term between. There is no between. Only oneness. So Advaita Vedanta speaks of or propounds the oneness of soul, the oneness of soul, Atmaikya. That is the word, Atmaikya. Atma is soul. And the oneness of soul. Only one soul is real in this universe. Nothing else is real. That is Aikya. But there is some difficulty in conveying our thoughts with the help of language. Advaita works right. Jiva Brahmanoho Aikyam. Jiva Brahmanoho Aikyam. This is the sentence I find in Advaita works. The sentence mentions Jiva and Brahma. And oneness of the two. Jiva Brahmanoho Aikyam, oneness of the two. How come? Two cannot be one. Two cannot be one. So it's very difficult to understand. It's a linguistic problem. In some other works of Advaita Vedanta, in some other places, there is a very good sentence to understand this. Atmaikatva Vidya. This is also a sentence in Advaita works. Atmaikatva Vidya. So, learning the oneness of soul. That one soul is called Brahman. That is Atmaikatva Vidya. Now we have the term Bheda Bheda. How can we explain this Bheda Bheda? Very difficult thing. In the Vedanta of Madhvacharya, the term is explained as Ayavad Dravibhavi Guna Guninoho Bheda Bhedavu. Some attributes last to the life of substance. Such attributes are Yavadravya Bhavinaha. The attributes last to the life of substance. Some attributes do not. For example, green color of a leaf. Green color of a leaf goes, but the leaf exists. So that green color is an attribute that does not exist in the life of leaf. Therefore, green color and leaf are not identical. The attributes of Paramatman, Brahman, Jnana, Ananda, Shakti, they are there all along with Brahman. They never go. Therefore, attributes of Brahman last to ever, because Brahman lasts ever. Therefore, they are identical. They can't be differentiated. They are identical. In the case of green leaf, green color and leaf, as long as green color goes with the leaf, it is identical with the leaf. But it does not last. It is not identical. So there is an element of temporal difference and temporal identity. Therefore, it's a bheda bhedau. It's dual. Bheda bhedau. That is the concept in the works of Madhvacharya. When we read this, or we hear this word, this achintya bheda bheda, where do these terms bheda and bheda apply? To what entities? This is bheda or abheda. I gave you an example of green color and leaf. There bheda and abheda apply to green leaf and green color and leaf. Here, when we talk of achintya bheda bheda, where do these terms apply? After application, how do we say it is achintya? So yesterday, some scholar gave an explanation. It's a technical word. Don't go to give the dictionary meaning to this word. So leave it. Dictionary meaning. No dictionary meaning. It's a technical term. What does the technical term mean? It should mean something. What does the technical term mean? It's not very clear. Therefore, I feel. It has to be loaded with some concept. Loaded with some concept. So, what is that concept? Here, at this point, I feel this subject needs an elaborate study, and those who have studied elaborately and well versed, they should be invited to South India, to the institutions like this research institute, Poornaprajna Samshodhana Mandira. A few classes are to be conducted, not one class. A few classes are to be conducted. That way, students of philosophy in this South India who do not well acquainted with Gaudiya philosophies, achintya bheda bheda, they will be benefited to understand this word. And then we can discuss this. Now, it's not clear what is achintya bheda bheda. It's not very clear. That is one thing. Another thing, in course of this lecture, Madhava Gopinath Prabhu Sharma, I think you mentioned Panchama Purushartha. In our long tradition, we have 4 Purusharthas. Everything includes in these 4 Purusharthas. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. You may bring bhakti under dharma, or you may take bhakti under moksha, or the means of moksha. Means of moksha are dharma. So you can bring it under dharma.
What they meant, I think Acharya, what they meant by that is, after having a little discussion, what I understood is that they are talking about the Bhagavatottama.
Bhagavatottama.
That we talk them in the last stage, but they start with the primary.
Now, please.
Yeah. This concept is not only there in Gaudiyas, the Panchama Purushartha, maybe the word sounds like that. It's generally called Parama Purushartha.
So this scholar also mentioned this.
Yeah, Panchama Purushartha.
Yeah,
And Prema Pumardo Mahan. This is the
yeah.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's, this thing what's in Chaitanya Manjusha. I'll tell you one simple thing. Sri Vaishnavas have a book Mukunda Mala. They recite almost every day.
Yeah.
Especially in this month also along with Tirupavai. Mukum has two meanings. Of course, according to Amarakosha, we hear that Mukum is synonym to Mukti, Nirvana, Moksha, Kaivalya and other things. But none of those are meanings for Mukunda Mala. Because in the slokas itself he is telling, I don't want life after life, I only want your devotional service. I don't want Mukti. He is telling. Then if he is telling like that, can he name it Mukum means moksha? No. Mukum also means prema rasa bhakti vachanam. In that sense we accept. Mukunda means one who gives prema, not one who gives mukti. Bhagavata also, if you see Vrittasura, he is telling, I don't want mukti. You ask Nagapatnis, they are telling, I don't want mukti. You ask Prahlad, he is telling, I don't want this thing. Everybody wants a service again and again, life after life. Mama Janmani Janmani Ishvara. Even Mahaprabhu is telling that. I am not asking for mukti. I am asking only for your service. That's why in Gaudiya Vaishnavism, it is classified as a separate Purushartha.
Welcome, welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome. Ekam. Welcome. And finally, a point to be discussed, debated and understood properly in future. Scholar Professor Nicholas Raymond mentioned of the two words jnana and knowledge. They are two different things. According to Professor, jnana and knowledge are two different things. I fully agree with him. But how do we differentiate? This is a very difficult thing. To those to whom English is mother tongue, they understand it, knowledge, understand this. To those people to whom the word jnana is much acquainted in Indian languages, in every Indian language, Kannada, Tamil, Sanskrit, the term jnana is there. They are well acquainted with this word, very much familiar with this word, jnana. When they are very familiar with this word, you ask them, what do you mean by jnana? They can't explain. There are no words. We know it, but we don't have words. I used to ask my students in the classroom, what do you mean by I? I am Rajesh, I am Nagaraj. We say this again. What do you mean by I? I used to ask my students. None of the student was able to speak that. But he knew it. He knew what is I. But he never had words to explain. Though he knew it, he never had words to explain it. ನಾವು ಕನ್ನಡ ಭಾಷೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ನಾನು ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು? ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತ ಭಾಷೆ ಅಹಂ ಇತಿ ವದಾಮಃ. ಅಹಂ ದೇವದತ್ತಃ, ಅಹಂ ಚೈತ್ರಃ, ಅಹಂ ಇತಿ ಕೋರ್ತಃ. It's extremely difficult. You don't have words. You know what is that I or what is that aham. We know, but we don't have words. Finally, at the primary level, we take boys or girls or persons to that object and show the object and pronounce the words. Cow, we take the boy or girl to the animal cow and pronounce the word cow, C-O-W, cow. Or in Samskrita Bhashayam, gauhu iti. Showing the entity, we pronounce we utter the word. The utterance and showing the word, they correlate. Then it understands this is cow, this is dog, this is mother, this is father. Primarily showing the things and relating a word to that. So that word is understood as this thing. Jnana. That way, jnana is felt and the word is uttered. So the felt thing and the word jnana is correlated. That is how jnana is understood. We can never give a long explanation using some 10 sentences. That can't be done. Similarly, the case of knowledge. Professor Nicholas Raymond, I believe, learned Westerners use the word knowledge as their mother tongue, and they have their own conception. And the concept went on changing from time to time. But in our context, I believe the meaning of the word jnana or the concept has not undergone any change. It is constant. So those who are familiar with this, they can use the word confidently. When there is confusion, very difficult to iron out the confusion. That's why we have so many schools of philosophy, number of schools of philosophy, because of this confusion. Acharya Rajesh Goswamiji, I am not well versed in Hindi, he gave a very enlightening lecture on Bhagavad Bhakti and Sampradaya. Similarly, the last scholar, I forgot his name, the day, he gave an enlightening lecture on Vaishnavis in Navadvip and other things. A very interesting 2 words I heard in the lecture. Anugatyamayi seva. That's the word you said. Anugatyamayi seva. Swatantramayi seva. There are 2 words. Very interesting words. Anugatyamayi seva gives some meaning to me. Service with the thought of serving the God or serving some other respectable persons. That is anugatyamayi seva, following them. Swatantramayi seva is difficult to understand the word.
Should I?
Please.
Swatantramayi seva is serving without acknowledging the paths propagated by the acharyas.
Without acknowledging.
Without acknowledging, performing without acknowledging the
very good. Good explanation.
prescriptions or propagations
Good
by
explanation.
acharyas.
So it's a term to be understood afresh in our society. This way, this session has been very enlightening, very beneficial to scholars, and I offer my pranams to all the scholars who presented their learned views, and I also offer my gratitude to this Samshodhana Mandiram for having organized this kind of enlightening seminar. And this seminar must lead to organization of some workshop to understand the concepts mentioned here. Workshop means a detailed study and very long interaction. So that long interaction and detailed study is necessary. And this Poornaprajna Samshodhana Mandiram will in the future organize such workshop and help students to understand these things better. With this, I conclude my remarks. Thank you.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. I did not know, yesterday also we missed our mantra at the beginning because it was so hurry and Swamiji was in hurry. Of course there was hurry, but hurry is same everywhere. I am very happy that all of you came from different places, because I am saying our Pujya Sri Rajesh Kishore Goswamiji is leaving soon to the airport after, because he has to catch a flight by 8 o'clock. Far away places, only because of their love for the philosophy and Krishna Bhakti, their Shraddha and their interest in the resurrection of the philosophy and Bhakti and spreading the message to the masses. These people, they came. Pundarikji, Goswamiji, yesterday he came, and Tanmayji, he came. Despite so many deep engagements with different works, Goswamiji has Katha from tomorrow at Durgapura, West Bengal, and Pundarikji has Katha today. These people are very busy. Despite they came only to show their respect to the Madhvacharya and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And somebody asked me today how this conference is being organized every year. Is it organized every year? And somebody told, no, it is historically, it is first time, and we hope it will continue. That is the situation. Maybe always time makes things possible. It did not happen in the life of our Vishvesha Swamiji, but it is happening now, and many things that will follow afterwards. Yesterday, whatever was discussed here in the stage, and then Sri Goswamiji and Tanmayji and Pundarikji and Swamiji were there, and we had a very wonderful meeting there. And the roadmap is now clear. Swamiji will visit Vrindavan for 3 days on the Chaitanya Jayanti, and Chaitanya Jayanti will be celebrated in Vrindavan in the presence of all the Gosais in Vrindavan, because Chaitanya Jayanti, all the people will be there cutting the sampradayas, all the 6 Goswami sampradayas will be there, and we people will also visit there, and we hope it is a mutual understanding and mutual beneficial for the all the people, because there is kind of confusion there in Vrindavan also, which sampradaya they belong. Such kinds of difficulties are there. So it is I am happy, and it all happened because of Sri Rajesh Kishore Goswamiji. What happened? I did not know. I knew our Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami, everybody okay. All the old people, we understood. We understood Damodaral Goswami. But I have never met any person from Vrindavan prior to meeting this Goswamiji. One day, my friend Pramod Kumar Sharma, who is now teaching in JNU, he phoned me, and we and Rajesh Kishore Goswamiji, we are coming to Bengaluru to find Rajesh Kishore Goswamiji wants to put his son here for the education. He wants to teach him Dvaita Shastra, Sanskrit Vyakaran Nyaya, the very strong, rigorous scholarship that he wants to cultivate to his son. That's why we are coming to Bengaluru. Okay, that is the beginning of the thing. And I did not have understanding of Pundarikji also at the time. It happened 2022. कब आए थे आप? 21 में? हाँ 21 में आए थे शायद. अब कुछ हमारे भी कुछ पता नहीं था, लेकिन अब ये तो भगवान की संकल्पना है, इसलिए ऐसे चीज़ें चलती रहती हैं. Again I visited Mayapur and Navadvip this year. where Dr. Maitriji was also there to participate in some seminar in Ramakrishna Math Vivekananda Education Institution in Kolkata. And I made time to be there for 5 days. And I visited Navadvip and Mayapur, and very happy how Vaishnavism is still flourishing there. And we wanted to make a seminar. Which seminar? Poornaprajna Samshodhana Mandiram, every day there is a seminar. But we wanted to have a fruitful discussion, and ICPR came into our help, and we thought it is a very good time to organize a philosophy of Krishna Bhakti in North India. And that is on the occasion of Vishvesha Swamiji's Aradhana. That is the least service that we can render to him. So it is all divine sankalpa. It is happening, and I hope it will continue, and with all of you will be there. And yesterday Jaydeep, he objected me, you are taking this seminar, conference should be organized once in Udupi, Bengaluru, Vrindavan, New Delhi. But he said, you are leaving the Navadvip. Yes, of course. And I am very much happy. I visited Navadvip, where Vishnupriya Thakurani's brother's lineage is still flourishing. We met Swamiji. What is his name? In where? In the Tola Mandira. Not Tola Mandira. Tola Mandira we visited, we saw the manuscript of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, where he, Bhagavad manuscript also we saw. And the where first time Sankirtan happened in that place. Srivasangan. Srivasangan. It was Srivasangan. Mayapuri, not Mayapuri, this is the Navadvip, Srivasangan. That was very wonderful place. And I witnessed the same muddy that we are following here is observed there. And the cook was taking the nivedan for the god, and some person was sprinkling water, because the way is Ashuddha, that's why he wanted to clean the way. And people, whole of India, Sanatana Dharma is same. And because of the last 100, turbulence in the last 100 years, most of us, we are leaving the traditional Sanatana path for bad or good. Of course, leaving the Sanatana path is always bad, but sometimes it is to take a new shape, that some things happen. So, but still people are continuing such a tradition. Vaishnava Acharya is very important, and see all the people wearing Gopi Chandan, and yesterday he is also sporting Angara Sri Tilak, as he called. So we hope it will continue for the sake of spreading the message of Krishna Bhakti. I am very much happy. Yesterday one thing we missed badly, that is, we have published Shikshashtakam for the first time in South. Yesterday we have published the Krishnamrita Maharanama and Sadachara Smriti of Madhvacharya. In the same book we have published the Shikshashtakam of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as per the order of our Vishvesha Swamiji. Yesterday it was unveiled there, but by the time Tanmaiji had left and Pundarik Swamiji, he decided he will skip the event. So we had to unveil, and I am happy I will present the 2 books to Rajesh Kishore Goswamiji. And one thing, there was some kind of hurry, because all the people in Poornaprajna Samshodhana Mandiram were extremely busy till December 6th. We were, day and night we were doing the work of Srimad Bhagavata with the commentary of Madhvacharya. Bhagavata Tatparya is the commentary of Madhvacharya. First time we are printing below the Bhagavata for the sake of readers and for the Parayana also. That we wanted to publish it for the, because so many people now, you have witnessed the Parayana Bhagavata Parayana is going on. Nearly 500 people are doing Parayana. For that purpose, we need. Poornaprajna Mandira had published another version of Bhagavata, which is based on purely on manuscripts. But this version is purely on the commentaries. Of course, we have adopted some of the readings in the manuscripts, but purely different commentators. Mostly, Vijayadhvaja Tirtha is the oldest commentator on the Bhagavata. After Madhvacharya, we have followed Madhvacharya closely. And after Madhvacharya, Vijayadhvaja Tirtha's commentary is mostly followed, and his readings are given in the main, as the main text. And then Yadavacharya's and Satyadharma Tirtha's commentary are followed, and whatever readings they have given, these are all given in the critical apparatus in the footnotes. And we have, the biggest thing is Bhagavata Tatparya is printed for the first time in this manner. So everybody can understand. Otherwise, it was once, it is prior to this publication, Bhagavata Tatparya was printed along with full Bhagavata only once. That is in 13 volumes. Nobody could read it unless he decides to read it. Fortunately, I could do it. That is called as Bhakti Yoga. Not Bhakti Yoga, Bhukti Yoga. Daily, while having lunch, morning and evening, I studied the whole Bhagavata for the last 1.5 years, and that inspired me to do this thing, and I am happy. It has come very nicely, and people are appreciating. Personal appreciation is apart, but the bigger thing is we want to publish it in North India through Central Sanskrit University, so the people will be able to understand what is Madhvacharya's view on the Bhagavata. Because Madhvacharya wrote commentary on the Mahabharata also, but not verse by verse commentary. It is only Mahabharata Tatparya Nirnaya. He has given only independent Nirnaya. But whereas for the Bhagavata is so terse, he decided to give a full commentary whenever necessary. This is the outcome of. We were all busy. All the staff of Poornaprajna Samshodhana Mandira in one or other way were busy with these people. Once it went to print, then we started again pushing ICPR, and then they released funds, and this thing happened, this seminar happened, and I thank Professor Sachidananda Mishra, our elder brother, who is there in ICPR as the member secretary, and also my colleague and my Vice Chancellor now, Professor Srinivas Varakhedi, who helped all of us to organize this seminar. And yesterday he also spoke here. This afternoon he may come here because accidentally he had to come to Bengaluru yesterday night. We hope we will be there. And I present this book to Sri Rajesh Kishore Goswamiji. Now I have understood what is Vrindavan after studying Srimad Bhagavata and all other things, and I myself gave 3-day lectures in our Poornaprajna Vidyapeetha about Vrindavana, Murali Krishna and the Rasa Krida. Then only that is the realization point. That's why. Though it is 2 volumes, very difficult to carry in the slide. This is Krishnamrita Maharana. Krishnamrita Maharana is there, Sadachara Stuti is there, and Shikshashtaka is there. My Hindi translation of Krishnamrita Maharana. It is all divine wish. I am happy you made time and one thing, all the participants in the seminar, they can have a copy of Srimad Bhagavata and also other. Yes. And I want to take the copies from our office, the Bhagavata, and also Krishnamrita Maharana. Don't forget it. We will also give one to you.